Apocalypse! Ladies and gentlemen, the Warbosses of the Apocalypse.
Hold on. Hey! Now it's fixed. Holy Jesus, you would not believe the hassle required to try and get this up and running. I had to do a fresh restyle on the computer because shitebags tried to hack my system, but fuck them. And yeah, just as we're ready to stream, it's like, these are the wrong drivers. You need to update your graphic drivers. It's like, Christ on a bicycle. But hello, and welcome to the Warboss Show. I'm your host, Gar, and today joining me is Sid.
Hello. 3 of the other 5 Warbosses.
Exactly, so we might get a civil conversation in for once. Edwardian edgeways, God forbid.
Well, we'll hope.
I'm on the cider tonight. The where's Copperberg from anyway? Swedish, Norwegian.
Copperberg. I don't think it's English. It's not one of the Scandinavian.
It's one of these Scandinavian ones. They're only 4% now. I remember back in the day when they were a higher percentage, and then they got a slap on the wrist, and they were like, "No more of that. Can't be having too much fun."
Yeah, I remember they've done that with remember Caffrey's?
No. What was it?
Yeah, it was quite nice. It was like a smooth, a bit like Guinness, but lighter in colour.
So
it was nice, but it was 5.2%, and they dropped it down to 4 with the advertising slogan "Less is more."
Less is more.
Sales plummeted, so to save it, they dropped it to 3.6. Didn't work.
Bastards! Jesus, shocking shenanigans.
Silly sods.
Where the Zog is Essex? Steve was asking where the Zog is Essex. Never mind where the Essex is. You were watching his stream and not joining in. Where the Zog are you? You cheeky whore. Dread is there as well. You ain't got a charger cord, plug it in. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, well, in keeping with what I believe is National Beer Day, if you're on the cider, I'm on the whiskey. So,
hey!
You know.
We're enjoying the weekend well we can.
This is it.
Speaking of weekends, we have gotten very quickly, we should probably get into the Sunday preview. Have you had a look yourself?
Yes.
You've had a
I've had a quick squiz on the phone. So, you know, I mean, I was going to say little images, but I did have a spy on the website and found that most of the images which grabbed me attention were taken from screen grabs of the video. You know, the things like there's some info on Gazzy's data card.
Oh, all of that type of stuff, yeah.
Attachments.
Yeah.
It's like they've went codex. It's somebody went pause.
Image,
expand.
pause.
Look at this.
We'll jump over. We'll show the Warhammer community tab. We won't bother playing the video, or will we? Will we play the video? Yeah. Do you know what? Sure, why not?
I don't know. Well, I've got somebody saying it's Voodoo saying the audio is a little low. If both of were a little low, just turn it up.
We can jack things up a bit.
Is that clever or stupid? Not sure.
Better, worse. Hold on. Jack levels up until eardrums are burst.
I mean, I could do that.
Oh, Jesus, that works wonders. So it does. See, I find it funny because the screen that I'm displaying this on, where I'm looking, has lines across it because it's cracked or whatever. Whereas it's coming up pristine. I like them Ork dice, by the way. I want to get my hands on some of them dice.
I don't know. I saw somebody ask. I think it was in the boss chat. Did they have images on 1s and 6s?
I think they've learned their lessons from those early sort of days.
Because that's really horrible.
Kill team days where they had like a kill team symbol on 1 and the Ork symbol on the 6 or whatever, and it was bleeding shocking.
Yeah,
I think they've learned their lessons from that.
Well,
looking at the Custodes dice only have the symbol on the 6. See, they're learning. All Battletech dice are like that. Symbol's always on the 6. Always on the 6. Right, that's... Is there
my
more
dice
about
have got
Orks in
6
here? Am I
symbols.
going to have to jump this? Look, alright, grand, whatever. I think they've talked about the Orks. So, Codex Orks. We've got ourselves a limited edition version with gold writing, or we've got a standard Ork Codex. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'm actually bothered buying a codex.
I'll probably buy the codex, if I'm honest.
I don't know if I could be arsed. Like, I bought the last one and I think I opened it twice. Like, we had our meet and that's about it. I haven't, like, I think, have I played 40k since we last played? And that was like a year and a half ago or more now. I don't think I have.
I mean, there's plenty of places to get the rules. You know, there's plenty of places to get the stats and that. And I suppose when the Space Marine Codex came out, which I think was one of the first ones, I did buy it. And it hasn't been opened. I haven't even looked at it.
It's just that things need updating so quickly. But we won't be negative Nancy's. But I'm not pushed to buy an old codex myself personally. But, you know.
It's going to be 25, 30 quid, isn't it?
Ah, no, it'll probably be about 35, 40 euros over here. Nearly 45 probably. They ask for an arm and a leg over in this neck of the woods. We've seen the box set before. The Stomper Boys, the new mech, and several older kits. Well, apart from the boys. I mean, that's not bad. But Combat Patrol, this one I thought was a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Combat Patrol, Beast Naggers.
Yeah. It without, you know, jumping ahead, it seems to be like fitting one of the detachments. And I do think that's not a bad box if you haven't bought Orks before.
Yeah.
Or you haven't got any of the Stagger models, because, you know, I mean, I'm saying that. The Snaggers are all right. They're not bad models. I do quite like the look of them. I've done 10 standard and I played around with 10, and they were easy enough, really, to kit bash and add a bit of sort of variety in that with the other 10. Not as easy as the boys kit, the original boys kit. But probably a lot easier than the new boys kit. And the Squig Hogs are all right. They're not bad models. I quite like them as well. But I've seen lots of third-party ones I also like, probably a little bit more in some cases.
Yeah.
So I've never been a fan of the Pilot Coats Beast Boss.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but looking at it from the point of view of someone new getting into the hobby who hasn't got Orks at all, what do you reckon?
Yeah. I think that's absolutely spot on. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Oh.
I think if you've been collecting Orks since they brought the Beast Snaggers out, the chances are you've probably got those already, or at least as much of them as you actually want. Yeah,
because I think most of this was covered in the last army release, wasn't it? The one with the Beast Snagger Codex and
the 9th edition army release had the same number of Beast Snagger boys in. You had the Squig Hog boys, and what else did you get with that?
Wartsnagger, wasn't he in it? You got the Squig Hog riders and the Squig Hog Knob rider.
Yeah, they come together.
Yeah,
you got 2 lots of Beast Snaggers. I think it was Wartsnagger, and no, you didn't get a Pain Boss. You definitely didn't get the War Boss. You didn't get Mozrog. I'm sure somebody in the chat right now sort of typing it.
Yeah. Trying to remember back. But yeah, so if you don't have Beast Snaggers, decent Combat Patrol, and if someone's new starting out, it's not bad going either. Yeah. Beast Boss, 20 Snagger boys and Squig Hog boys. You know, you've good troops there, and you've got a fair old punch there.
Yeah. There's probably almost I'd say almost 500 points there. I think the Beast Boss is a ton, Beast Snaggers are a ton, 10 each, so that's 320, and another 125 for the 125. So that puts it up to what 445, and the Squig, this knob on Smasher Squig 65. So you got 510.
There you go, 500 point army. Happy days. The Ork dice, as I said, they're looking a lot nicer than Ork dice that we've previously gotten. I have gotten the scrap limited edition ones. I think it was 2 or 3 editions ago now. Was it 8, Ed? I'm trying to remember now at this stage. There's been that many editions. They all blur into one after a while. And data cards for Orks as well. 55 data cards coming out of pack. And 16 dice.
You could go through. I mean, how many data cards? I'm asking this, and I don't know, and I'm guessing you haven't got a clue to be honest. Mate. How many data cards were released at the start of 10th for Orks?
Was it
Was
55?
it 55?
Hmm.
I don't think it was. I think it was more than that.
You reckon?
I think so. Yeah.
So we've lost a few units.
Well, yeah.
And then
I've
we've
heard some
gained at least one new unit
disturbing news.
with the mech.
Well, you probably gained one or so.
Well, you know, this is kind of expected, to be honest with you. And then it's all gold and wankery fucking Space Marine shite, so that's enough of that.
Yeah. Custards.
Oh, Big Daka. And another book special edition coming out.
If anybody in the chat knows how many data cards there were, I think Tony Mark said 57.
Question mark.
It's a bit of a guess, I think, but hey, could well be.
True, could be.
As what I'd heard was, and I think this came from Essex himself, the elusive Essex, was Bardruck's gone,
Captain Badger.
Zagstruck's gone, and I'm sure, did he say Snickrod gone? That can't be right.
That
They've
doesn't
just
make
brought them
sense.
up
They've
to the
literally
model
made a
out.
new plastic of Snake Rot. That seems like mad.
Yeah, he might not have said Snickrot. Who's
Badruck
who
and
else was it?
Zedstruck,
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't say Snickrot. I hope. Scrolly, scrolly, scrolly.
Scrolling. Keep them mouses scrolling.
Ba, 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 ba. Oh, sorry, not Snickrod. It was Grotsnick.
Ah.
Which is also a bit of a shame, to be honest with you, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. But let's put it in Grotsnick.
This is very true.
Yeah, that's fucking sad, that.
Times a change.
I mean, if they've gone to Legends, which I imagine they will do, yeah, you know, I'm sure lots of tournament people might be upset.
Look, I'll be honest with you. The way I look at it is, I only really ever play 40k with me mates anymore, and we've no problem with Legends, so it doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? I can understand legitimate arguments if folks are gaming in their local store and they're all fucking tryhards, and you know what I mean, or their local GW is the only place they can play, and their store manager is by the book. You know what I mean? I can see where it's a problem there, but for me personally, it's just I'm not going to get stressed over something that doesn't really bother me that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But having said that, I mean, there's a few comments there. Tommy Mack said the knob with Warbanner's gone.
All right.
So that's fucking great timing, isn't it? And the Mech Workshop looks to have gone, which I'll not lose any sleep over, but I'm sad to see the kit
That's a
go.
weird one. That's a relatively new kit, like, considering. So for
Yeah.
that to be gone, and folks are saying it's no longer being sold online either. For that to have been given the chop, I don't know, I find that a bit odd.
Yeah. Well, I saw on the Facebook group that they pulled the truck kit, and it was no longer available in the stores at all. It just wasn't there. It'd been completely, they'd sacked it off.
I think that
And I
was
painted
an
me
April
banner.
Fool's though, wasn't it?
I painted me banner. I was halfway to GW on the bus before I realised the date.
April
I
Fool's.
was,
Don't be messing with
I
people.
was
Don't
a
be
bit
telling them that their
livid.
toolkit's gone. They'll be bleeding riots on the street, lads. All right.
I had a roller coaster of emotions, if I'm being totally honest. What the fuck?
The Molotovs were being topped up.
They've gone
it's
too
just April
far.
Fools. Calm down. These are grand.
Yeah, I wasn't very. I wasn't very happy for a short amount of time. I went, oh, hang on a minute. It's just some cheeky prankster. Prick. Take an extra blood pressure tablet.
No, I'm not quite at that stage yet myself, but give me a few years. The right and bleeding going. I am tipping over at the Stone Boys, hobby wise. I've managed to get the airbrush up and working as well. Mind you, I need to buy some PTFE tape. I've used some electrician's tape to seal in one of the gaskets that's leaking. So it's gone from a major leak to a manageable leak, if you get me. But
yeah, you need some PTFE tape really though for that.
Yeah, I'll get that on the lunch break tomorrow. But I've got it up and running, and the idea being that I am nearly finished with these Star Wars and onto the painting stage. So I'm hoping in all hopes that the airbrush will help massively on the rate of painting. Speed is of the essence. We don't have long left now at all.
We've got 2 weeks tomorrow.
Jesus, don't be saying such things to me. Absolutely horrified. And I have to say, there's a little miter box that I bought. Is it in here? Which drawer is it in? I have that many drawers full of hobby supplies now. Boy, Jesus, where's it gone? Anyway, I bought a little aluminium miter box, but more importantly, this this Tamiya. See this bleeding thing?
Oh, that looks a bit fancy, doesn't it?
I think it was about 20 quid, right? But brilliant investment. This just chews through stuff so quickly, and you get a spare blade as well. This is one of the best things.
That's not bad.
It's one of the best hobby things I've bought.
I still rate that as one of the best things I've bought. Same sort of thing, although not as fancy. No spare blade, the tenner, and that's cutting plastic tube or even through parts of models is a pleasure. With that, I say a pleasure, it's not a pleasure.
Definitely, yeah. That's what I've been trying out different poses with the boys and stuff, and I found whoever sculpted the original arms and stuff like that was a genius, because whereas they may be a burden initially, like if you're looking at the orcs, right, and a lot of them will have like wristbands and braces and stuff like that. They're great connection points. Look at this bleeding autofocus of a Hooer. So they're great connection points. So if you want to change the hand to a different one or even repose it, if you cut it just at the end of the brace or the wrap or whatever, and then connect.
Yeah, you've got a nice flat line.
You've got a nice flat line to reconnect the new arm. So even doing simple things like re-angling the hand a bit is super handy. Cutting into the shoulders to change the angle a little bit and try and open them up. And the fact that these aren't going to be connected via the base, so normally you'd have him glued, right, and he'd be looking that way. Whereas because I'm going to have him mounted from his backpack, you can change.
You can have him tilt. Yeah, keep the head level.
You keep the head level, and you can change the dynamic of the miniature altogether. So you can tell which ones I sort of glued years ago beforehand. These guys that are partially painted, and the ones that I've made more recently, they're a lot more dynamic, and it's just minor changes, just cutting into hands and arms, or doing chops and changes in regards to I wanted a power claw here, so that I think that was one of the biker arms that had a pipe, so I cut it off. This was a power claw that was from the other arm, so I cut it off at the power claw bit and put it on this arm instead. And you can do a lot. There's a fair bit of customizing just cutting existing arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I've got a couple here. On my little tray of completed bits.
Ooh.
Well, that little fella, little grot. I tell you what. Let's put that light there. You might be able to see him. You can just about see him, but his hand. His arm's got. He's had to reposition his shoulder and his wrist and his hand because he's got to be holding onto a wheel. And there's hopefully an easier to see orc.
Or even I think I used one of the pointing arms, even like
where he positioned his arm as well, just so he's resting on something.
Yeah,
having a smoke.
Nice. So I'll see if I've got a spare arm here that I can chop up and
trying to see much there, can
Some folks are saying that it looks a bit wide. Have we got a shooter arm that's... As you can tell, because I've been chopping and changing a lot of stuff, I've ended up with a lot of odds and sods in regards to arms. Right, so we'll do a quick chop. For those who don't know, shooters are literally sluggers with barrels attached to them, so you can actually cut off the barrel. If you do it nice and tidy, cut off the barrel and then put a barrel on it. And I've literally just been like using the saw, using the file and blades, and been chopping stuff up. But that, you know what I mean? That's another arm, one other slightly different pose for a slugger. But if you wanted to do like a hand swap, so this blade's actually pretty thin for what it is. I just line up against the glove. Try not to go too mad because this thing will cut through metal. So I've literally just line it up. There you go. And it's not.
Yeah.
The blade's not too thick. It's only about a mil, really. So if you look
Yeah.
at the plastic, that's
Good
nice.
thing as well, because it's so thick as well, it's easier to control.
Yeah.
When you're using a knife and you're cutting, maybe it's just me, but I'll often start the cut and then it'll sweep away to one side. Whereas with the saw, it's just straight down and it's always a straight cut. And it allows you to make much longer cuts as well. So if you've got to take off, like even, I don't know, there's a tail fin off a jet. If you had to cut sort of like it straight down the length of it, you can do so with a nice straight cut. Whereas a knife, getting a ruler on top of that, you know, a bit of textured kit, is difficult to hold it steady if you're just making knife scores or even with a scriber. But with a saw, you just line it up, pull it back, make your first groove, and then just, you know, a couple just to start you off, and then
Yeah, once you've
just
got
like
the bite
cutting
in,
wood.
it is a lot easier with a bigger
Yeah.
saw to get a straight line. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's great for so many things. If I've had to cut something in half, like say a truck, or when I made the what was it? It was the last mega grot tank or grot giga tank, to get the track sections off the truck, off the battle wagon. It's sort of like it's part under the cab at one point, the bit I wanted. So I had to sort of like cut a section out from under the cab, which I couldn't do with a knife, not accurately. But with the saw, I could do both cuts, turn upside down, both cuts down, and then just cut across. And it's champion. I know Clint would just rip it apart with his chef
With bare
hands.
hands.
But, yeah, or use a cleaver or some sort of poaching instrument. But yeah, I'm not that barbaric.
That's years of opening shellfish bare hand as a chef. That's what.
That's so ripping oysters apart.
They're just cracking.
Call that a
tanks
shell.
and trucks open like there's no tomorrow.
Fucking
Sure, just do
snot
this. It'll be grand,
everywhere.
lads. You know what I mean? But even cutting, like I said, I don't know where I've stashed my little miter box. It's hidden away somewhere, but I bought a little aluminium one, and what I was actually doing was using it as a sizer for these barrels as well, and using that saw.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to get straight cut angles, so I don't have much cleanup now to get both ends of it flush, just so it looks good, and also so that it glues well, if you know what I mean. A little bit of filing at the end, and I'm just using this Tamiya file, but you could use whatever file you have. And
well, I found for cutting plastic rod. Now, I showed this last time, although I did find the other head. That's good.
Ooh.
Just a big pair of. I'll just take that bit of plastic.
And that takes Stanley blades, doesn't it?
Yeah, just Stanley blades. There is an attachment for it, which I've put somewhere, which is a bit clunky, but it's got like a much wider plate on it, on the blue bit. And it's got a backrest as well, so you've got you could do 90 degrees, no bother. And then it has got a little angled device you can move up for. I don't really trust that, though, to be fair. You lock it into place at 45 degrees, and there's a good amount of wiggle. So it's like 43 to 47 degrees. That's not good.
No.
But just for cutting stuff, yeah.
It does the job.
It does the job indeed.
So yeah, I'm finding it's going well. The silencers is a nice touch to the Stone Boys. I like that sort of meme mentality. Where it's like screaming into place. Ah, sure. We're sneaky though. They won't hear us coming. We got the guns.
Must have been the wind.
Exactly.
Isn't that right, Derek? Derek? The wind got you. It shot your face off. Fucking wind. Mind the wind at the minute. Jesus Christ.
I know, man. We've got a roof terrace where we are, and we've got like we've got a planter box or two, and the wind is destroying me. Rhubarb patch on me. It's breaking them all up. I'm like, Jesus. Heartbroken at the moment.
Well, that's not good. I mean, rhubarb always comes back, but still.
Yeah.
I put a little pagoda thing in the back garden for her lass, and she wanted a lid on it. Well, I say a lid, a roof. Just so she could put some stuff underneath that wouldn't get absolutely drenched every time it rained, which is like every day that ends in a Y around here.
Yeah.
So I put this like corrugated sheeting on top.
Oh, like the clear
You
stuff?
know, loads of screws and washers and it's taken a hiding over the last few days.
I'd say so.
It's been champion so far. It's been up there well over a year, or about a year, and or maybe 6 months, and it's been all right. But I noticed one of the mountain points it's all cracked around it, and I'm like, oh god, it's gonna come off, and I'm gonna have to fix it.
Gary, you're saying
But we'll
got
see.
an aluminium miter box, great accessory for the saw. It is indeed. You just need to be careful not to go too crazy with the saw, because you can cut into the aluminium. No bother as well.
I'll have to get one of them. Like, you can't have too many saws, can you?
No, not at all. Oh, sure. I got the miter box in your hobby store the last time I was there.
I've got one. I don't know where it is. I think is it in my little box of tricks. I mean, is it just a little one like that?
It is exactly the same one. Brilliant. And
Did
it's
you
got
get
a
a little
lip
Judy
on it as
hacksaw
well,
with
so
it?
you can put it on the edge of your table. Ah, you're using that one with it. I have that saw as well, but
I don't really use that with it, but it fits in the little toolbox tackle box. So that's where it lives.
I think I
With
have that
files
same
and Lego
tool in my
wheels.
toolbox.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a great miter box.
Let's have a look. So see what's going on in the chat there. Oh, how far back do you go? Let's see. Oh, yeah, yes, Jude, I did fall for the old April Fool's joke. I was thinking nothing surprises us, basically.
On this day and age now. Just can't trust no one online no more, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Voodoo's saying that generic leaders for units of Storm Boys and Flash Gits and Commandos, etc., would be better than named characters.
Do you know
I don't think it's better than having the choice.
Ork Warboss jetpack. Like
if they do stuff like that, yeah, like you've got like a commando themed knob who is not a named character as such, but is just sort of like commando knob. In the same way you got your war boss and you've got a beast boss. Instead of just coming up with say Mozrog is the beast boss.
Just call him a sky boss or something, you know?
Yeah. But I would have thought if they did that, the data card count would have been a bit more. I don't know if we actually settled on how many cards you got in 10th. I hope someone... Jude, get them counted. Gary's been talking about his scars from cutting into his fingers with him. We've all had
got our
some
war
pretty...
wounds. Yeah, mine's in me leg. I've that terrible habit of catching bits with my legs. And a few years ago, I think it was even during a stream, I dropped the X-Acto blade and, well, Jesus, went through the jeans and everything else.
Well, I dropped that one last night, and I've got a habit. I've got into the habit, should I say, since Christmas, of wearing Crocs around the house as like slippers. I wouldn't wear them outside, and I dropped it, and now I just pulled my feet away, and it was like a thunk sort of in
I've
the
had
floor.
that
And I was
happen
like,
before, and wearing flip flops. Yeah, Jesus. Whoa.
yeah. Well, we used to play darts, and if the dart bounces out the dartboard in the pub, if you catch it in your foot, you could throw it again from where you catch it. So whenever a dart bounced, you dive towards it with your foot, trying to catch it on the volley. And there's a few times like it's punched through like an air hole on a trainer, the little breathy holes you get in the top. Or
Yeah.
we weren't exactly wearing sandals, like everyone had shoes or trainers on, but still, yeah, nothing, no serious injuries. But
Nobody thought of wearing the old hobnail boots while playing darts, no?
no. Well, Doc Martens and that weren't uncommon.
Back when Doc Martens were actually Doc Martens and not just glorified slippers.
Yeah, I've got I used to wear Docs all the time when I was younger. But then I went to get some like when I was a bit older, and I used to pay 40 quid for them, and they were like a ton, 100 quid for a pair of Docs.
See, they're in vogue now. This is the thing. Nothing worse than the boots that you like wearing become the in vogue thing, and then you're finding they're 2 and 3 times the price.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh my God, I'm accidentally fashionable again. I'll never be able to afford to get dressed. Bollocks.
Keith saying, who needs such fanciness when you're just eyeball the proper? It's all well and good saying that, but if something's glued together on the wonk, it looks shite, no matter if it's orky or not.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
For
the most part.
Like, tidy. Other parts you can get away with them not being as tidy. You can eyeball it. Now, in saying that, that 45-degree angle that I got on that connection for me Cornby scorching knob, that was eyeballed. That was literally just bop and perfect.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to, but it helps. The most riveting stream ever is you get to watch me file Stein tubing. This is how the magic happens.
I'll get me drill, because I'm just boring. Nah, fuck this. Dean.
What's Sully saying? From GW community page, as for the rules, there's the 51 data sheets, 6 complete detachments, new crusade tools to launch a galaxy shaking WA, and a combat patrol to form Ork Warbosses. Have you tried Crusade? I've still not tried Crusade.
No. Which is a shame, because
we lost you mid-sentence there.
Yeah, I looked, I saw your hands went all. Yeah, your hands stopped moving. I thought, oh, my connection's dropped. Yeah, it's a shame, because Crusade, I think, looks quite interesting. I like the idea of it. I've always liked computer games and games where you essentially gain experience. I always used to call experience points, and you sort of like improve.
Like, I was only playing the old Dawn of War Crusade,
or go the other way even
the other day, and thinking it would be great. Do you know what I mean? If you just incorporate sort of gaining experience with Crusade and then with a map as well, that would be class. Like,
yeah, I mean, we always wanted when I was a young'un, we always wanted to do the whole, was it Mighty Armies or Mighty Empires?
Mighty Empires. I have
Mighty
the
Empires.
old box set, and that was a self-contained game, but you could the best way to describe that video game is that's like Rome Total War. So you could fight on the board setting, or you could break it down and use your Warhammer collection to fight each individual battle.
That's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Sort of play Mighty Empires, but when two armies clashed, like a 2,000 point army and a 4,000 point army clashed, we wanted to then play the game.
Yeah.
Do the battle. That just seemed fucking amazing.
I mean,
but there was
I wanted to do something like that myself.
Three of them with about 4,000 points between them across 3 different factions. So it wasn't really going to happen.
Yeah, no, but I think that the whole idea was like that. you could have more than your actual points worth of stuff, but no one army could have more than your total points worth of collection, if you get me. So that way you could fight, like, because if you had like 4 pieces and you only own 2,000 points, if each of them was 2,000 points, right, you could resolve each of those battles individually. You know what I mean? But you couldn't have an army that was 8,000 points because you didn't have 8,000 points.
Yeah, exactly.
But
We're limited by our actual model collections.
I went mad into it. I bought Mighty Empires when they did it for Fantasy again. It didn't really have extensive rules the way the first Mighty Empires did. And then I bought the Planetary Empires for 40k. I even went so far as to buy like the extra Hive City tiles and stuff. And I just never got around to using it for anything. You know what I mean? So I think we need to sort that out. Maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Warboss Meet will be a map campaign. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
I'd be well up for that. I mean, I don't think a week's long enough.
This is true, yeah.
We'll have to have a month away next time.
I mean, I've seen some absolutely brilliant Battlefleet Gothic campaign systems that were made by the fans, and just the rules for the campaign systems, where it's each, you know, where you're breaking your fleet up into ships, smaller ships, so you could have several confrontations. Like literally, you need like spreadsheets to keep track of stuff. But the fact that, you know, there's a fog of war, you don't know what your opponents have. You'll have escort ships scouting out areas. You know what I mean? You're telling your Ork fleet to go and build a pirate base in the asteroid belt in an Imperial sector, and they won't find you unless A, they cop onto the fact that they keep getting raided by Ork rocks all the time, or B, they send someone out to scout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's some absolutely class rule sets out there that are fan made that are really good. And you can also be a cheap.
I never played Battlefield Gothic. Battlefleet Gothic, man. I never played it.
You never played it?
No. I remember it being out, and I think some lads at the game club I used to go to had it.
It was great,
very much like basic starter level stuff, like. But no, I never got around to it.
No, I was the mad hero who was like, right, I'm into orcs and just orcs, so it's like, right, I've got the orc army, and I bought an epic army for orcs, and then I was like,
I bought that.
The Battlefleet Gothic fleet for orcs, because I wanted to be able to fight on all
represent
levels.
wherever.
Yeah, do the full orc invasion, if you get me. That was the plan. Maybe years from now, when I have, you know, a gaming room of my own or whatever, we can all live the dream.
Oh, should I stick this on first?
Show us your feet.
I'm trying to make. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just making stupid fiddly little things. I've got this little bit of a plastic tube cut at a funny angle, so it fits in a corner like that. And I've took an old Savage Ork shield that had animal hide on it.
Yeah.
And I've sort of like shaved off the glyph that was on it and cut away the shield, so I've just got the animal hide. And the idea is I'll stick that over there and make a little drum.
Oh, nice.
Because that grot who had his hand up had a club in the other hand. And I thought, why is he holding the club? It's a drumstick. He's got a big drum to pound.
Ah, I see. You're forging a narrative there. It's like, well, yeah.
Oh, you've got to. Because basically, I've been building this.
Oh, that's that fantasy dwarf steampunky dudes, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I've put a big smasher gun on the front, on the turret. It's going to have a shield on it and everything. And I'll give it shooters and big shooters there. And I've took the dwarf face off the front and give it an orky face, which the top of it actually looks a bit like a pirate hat, which I'm quite pleased at. and it's got a crew of grots and orcs. But it's got a. I didn't know what to have it like above it. I thought about doing a big fast floating squig, but I knocked that on the head because I couldn't find anything. To base it on, I didn't want it perfectly round, or I just knocked it on the head. I thought it looked silly. I know Tom's done one with like a zeppelin, big zeppelin above it. I can't remember where he got the zeppelin from, but it looked mint. But I thought I've got to do something different. So I've kept with the original bit, which is 2 big brass balls. I've just tried to alter them up a bit. So we've got this, which sort of sits on top of it. So I've given the balls a few more exhausts, the jaw plate off the squig off, and there's enough room to have a little grot sniping crow's nest up there. And I'll give it some wings with some rockets and a couple of battle cannons.
Nice.
So, yeah. I still need to fully armor plate it and dag it and everything. In fact, I've got a list of what I need to do. I need to put there's a little turret up there as well, so I'm going to have a mech with a shock attack gun in there. Or something similar to a shock attack gun. And, yeah, glyphs. Other than that, glyphs, armor, dags. Yeah, I'm done. That's what that little nest of things is. Crew and anchors and sextants. Is that what they're called?
The thing for navigating the sextant, it's like the eyepiece on the... I could draw you one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a sextant, not to be confused with a sextent, which is
very popular
a canvas. Yeah, canvas construction used for shenanigans.
But yeah,
the grot stood there with a club, so I figured he needed a drum or a gong, and I thought a drum more, beating out the strokes. Not that it has oars.
I was thinking to
myself, but I figure if orcs saw that, we need a drum.
True. I was thinking maybe if you weren't going to do that you could either do like a James and the Giant Peach jobby with like a load of squigs, flying squigs or something. Something akin to like your Stone Boys that you have, or Up, where it's just a load of party balloons.
I wouldn't be up for very long, to be fair, would it? Yeah, I like the idea of all the squigs, but those Stone Boys were not a cost-effective way to make Stone Boys.
Oh, no. They look absolutely class, but boy, Jesus, yeah.
There was like three kits to make one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of your Savage Oryx, your Squig Hoppers, and the
wings,
the Tyranid Gargoyles. Yeah. I've now got loads of Nids with wings. With no wings. And they don't have legs either.
No legs. Jesus, they've had a rough time of it, so.
They have. Just crawling along. Beating out the strokes in the sextant. Exactly.
So who are you looking forward to playing against the most?
Oh, right, we're going away. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've got me doubts about all of them. To the point where I don't know how I'm going to deal with. I'm taking squigs, so you'd think with some squig hog boys and beast snaggers, vehicles would hold no fear, but they hold a lot of fear. The big ones, like kill tanks and battle wagons, are quite scary, and the little ones, like grot tanks, are terrifying.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we've got Tim's grot tank armada. I think you'll do well against vehicles. I literally have no idea how these boyos are going to fare, but I don't really care.
Well, this is it, right? Because I've got no shooting, right? Just give you a little bit of a tactical insight here. I've got no shooting. Some of my army has sluggers. And that's about it, really. I think there's one big shooter and some thump guns, and that's the lot. So I'm gonna have to get close up, but I know fine well that lots of boys close up is a lot more terrifying than a small handful of squigs, for example.
What are the Stone Boys like now? Are they decent? Are they all right, or combat wise?
Stone Boys are the Ork boys, basically, aren't they? So yeah, not bad.
I was a bit heartbroken you can't take them in units of 5. I was hoping to be a cheeky tactical hero, like the fact you can't take commandos or Stone Boys in units of 5 anymore.
Can you take Stone Boys in 5s?
I don't think you can. I mean, if you can, I'd do one in a group of 10 and then 2 and 5s to be cheeky heroes and go claim objectives and then get in the way, yay!
I think you can, you know.
Or was it just commandos that they did that to, and it was like big
Commandos? Yeah, they did commandos just in 10.
Because commandos were absolutely class at doing that, popping up.
Yeah, they really were.
That's a nice objective you've got there. It'd be a pity if something were to happen to it.
Well, Stone Boys can go in units of 5, at least on the current data cards.
Listen, we've got 2 weeks left. At this rate, that's what we're doing. When do you reckon the codex will be out?
Well,
2 weeks from now.
that little reveal today was saying next week, wasn't it?
Jesus. Typical of us to organise something just when the codex is coming out.
Oh, aye.
Or typical of GW to release the Ork codex just as we're meeting up.
Let's have a look. So there, it's got a stamp on it. Ork and Adeptus Custodes. It's a Sunday preview. Next week, the stamp says.
Next week.
Now, what that means?
Pre-orders next week?
You know, your guess as good as mine. Yeah, I mean, normally the pre-orders go up first, so that would mean that if it is a pre-order for next week, they would generally out the week after, which is 2 days before. 2 days before we go.
So you'll get a live review of the codex most likely when we're all together, half charred.
Yeah. Oh, Tommy's asking there, did I get the Old World Orcs box? I did. I bought the battalion box.
How much
which is arriving tomorrow. I've been advised by email.
How much was it altogether?
It was 100 quid. I got it for 80.
80 for 30 boys.
From Alchemist Workshop, plug.
Nice.
And that's for 30 boys. 40 grots, I think it is.
Yeah. And 2 chariots.
And 2 chariots.
I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of chariots on eBay.
Yes, yeah, I think there will be. There'll be 2 more as of tomorrow. Not that I'll ever get around to selling it on eBay. I always mean to do that. I've got loads of stuff I want to flog on eBay. Never get around to it.
No. It's always the way, yeah.
And they end up as bits. Although what I'm going to use them daft looking balls for, I have no idea.
Bits for the bits gods. Right, we're just going to saw this. No mitre box. Right, living life on the edge.
Look at that wobble, man. The angles are all over the shop.
Ta-da!
Yeah, I do it all the time. I curse me soft, fleshy fingertips for the give that they have. I think if you're a guitar player, it might be better because you might have them little calluses.
Might save you.
Yeah, it might hold it a lot steadier than that wheelie shit they do. Rubbish. But if it is next week, because I don't know about you. In fact, maybe I do. But I fancy getting the Stomper box.
If I had the coin spare, I would, but I've already got, I think, 2 Stompers built.
That's fair enough.
In fact, I
I
think
do
the only
fancy
thing
another
in
Stomper.
there that I don't have some of unbuilt is that new mech. So it's like I could, but I really don't need to.
Yeah, I think I'll put the a little a deal together. 2 chariots and 10 orc boys. You know, maybe get drum up some more business from the unwary. 'Cause I don't want the boys really. The truck, brilliant. That'll never go amiss. The stomper, I want the stomper. The looters, yeah, I've got some looters which I need to bash together. I've got all the spare torsos and legs to make the burners as well.
Nice.
But the boys, I'm not asked about.
Are they the monopose boys?
Yes.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah, if they put the old boys kit in, which we've said this a few times. I know Steve also said this a good few times. It would have been really good because you would have had the option of having your 10 looters and not all, but and 10 burners. But no, they put the monopause ones in.
Can't be doing that.
So you've got to have 10 boys that you don't want. Or maybe you do. Maybe you haven't got any of those boys yet. And I do stand by. I think 10 of those boys isn't bad. Have 10.
More than 10 is rare things.
They're nice. They're nice enough on their own. Yeah, there's a couple of wanky ones, but there's a few good ones as well. But once you've got 10, I think you've hit your
quota.
You've hit your limit. There's no need for any more. Although I've never had a good shot at actually doing anything with them.
No,
I've never like took the next 10 because I think I've got 20. I done painted 10 of them as is, and I thought I'll muck around with the other 10 like I did with the beast snaggers. But I just look at them and think, what are you meant to do? I mean, they're holding the guns like that. It's all like on the cheek and stuff. It's like, I don't know what to do with this. I mean, I have got a new saw.
exactly.
So I think I've showed off before. And this is my own little handle I made out with a bit of plastic rod because it doesn't seem to fit any of the knives very well. But it's a very thin blade.
Yeah.
It's 0.1 millimeters thick. If I turn it just right, you can't even see
I was
it.
about to say, you turn the side on there, you can barely see the blade.
It's really, really thin. It comes with a few different blades. There's like 5 blades in total.
Oh,
And the thick bit here sort of folds over 3 times. So you've got something a bit thicker for the handle. But because it's so thin, you need to fit the entire handle bit in something to support it. Otherwise, it's just like all floppily dobbly.
Skewing all over the place, yeah.
Yeah, so I just had to get a bit of plastic rod and cut down it with me saw, and then slide the blade in, and then put a thicker bit of plastic rod on just to slide up and lock it into place. But you can cut things off models, like, and because it's got a bit of bend in it, quite a bit of bend in it, you can sort of cut like pouches and that off, pouches off belts or stuff like that, just by
curve on the blade, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't damage either bit. I mean, to be fair, you'll have seen yourself using that saw you're using. If you're cutting hands off,
it's like, what am I keeping here? Am I keeping the arm or am I keeping the hand?
Yeah, but even with the saw, the wrap, for example, you mentioned, isn't exactly ruined, is it? You've still got that. You know, it's fine for most things.
Yeah, the blade
but that's been quite good for really, really fiddly little details, which you then spend 10 minutes trying to pick up with big sausage fingers.
Did you see what I posted up in the progress in the Discord? Do you know the Borna face with the fag in the mouth or the cigar?
Mm-hmm.
I decided to hollow out one of the Stormboy helmets and then cut that head so that it fit into the helmet. Oh, boy, Jesus. It was a great idea, but I think I spent a half an hour cutting and foiling and trimming to try and get it in. I mean, I did in the end, but holy Christ. But I'm enjoying converting these Stormboys up and having a bit of fun with them. It's brought me hobby mojo back a fair bit. getting some progress done with them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I reckon they'll look class. See, look, this one doesn't need a silencer because back in the day I decided to give them 2 choppers. I'm sure there's
You
a
always do
snowboy
that.
here with 2 sluggers somewhere.
I think it's good to go off piste with stuff like that.
Yeah, why not?
You know, just do what you want. I've got a mate who just bought the new Terminator kit, the multi-pose Terminator kit, and he's done this like the captain, and he's got a fucking assault cannon, and you know, I thought, fuck it, he's a captain. If he wants an assault cannon, he can have one. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Oh,
But it does look really good.
It's the same thing with the knobs. Like, giving some of them, like I have a knob here that I did for Shadow War Armageddon that I'm using him in knob unit, and I've given him a cigar in his gob and green stuff the cigar into his gob, and then cut out a badge and cardboard and super glued it or whatever. But like, that's a big shooter. They don't get big shooters, but fucking who cares, man? It looks cool, you know.
Yeah, if you want a big shooter, a big shooter, he's a knob.
He's a knob.
I'll just have yours.
It can be whatever the edition tells it. Yeah, it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Rule of cool. You can't have 2 of them. I don't care.
Let's have a look at the chat. I've had lots of suggestions as to what I could do to fly the ship, as in fart and squigs and you know, what was it? I think fart and squigs is the one that stood out. To be, that was Sai. Funnily enough.
Have grots collecting farts in jars and then have a little system where they feed the jars into the balloon, or would you just have like the balloon connected?
I don't know. Maybe I think the suggestion was farts were actually fart squigs, which I mean that's not a type of squig I was aware of, but I mean I didn't see it.
I mean, if you're,
I don't know what they look like. I imagine they've got a fat arse and a smug expression. Yeah, that was me. I don't even care. Do you know the best way to jar a fart?
In a bathtub.
In the bath, exactly. Exactly. You see people farting in containers in the open air. So get in the bath with you.
So a bathtub full of squigs with grots with jars. Trying to capture farts.
Yeah. I might not end up doing that.
I mean, but we're going through the thought experiment, if nothing else. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll inspire someone to go through the fart jar factory for, inflating your squig balloons.
Yeah, I'll have to make that as a scenery piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you'd use resin, border effect resin for the bathtub.
What's that? Tommy's asking, how much does a box set you reckon? I assume he means a Stomper one. I'll stick with my original guess, which I think I said at 180.
How much are the Custodes one going for? Are they all roughly going for the same price point, those army box sets?
We don't normally. I mean, roughly, as in, yes, they'll all be over 100 quid. But things like the Custody one, I mean, you'll get a lot less minis in it. I did look at it before. I think you get 6 of the jet bikes. And then some Custodies. I don't know how many. And a few of them are probably special, which means they're worth 30 quid each. But I don't know if they set the... Actually, they can't be set the points limits, because if the Ork one set the points limits, it's probably fucking the most points out there, because you got 800 points of Bastard Stomper in it.
I still can't get over that the Stomp is 800 points. It was like 500 and something when it first came out. Shocking, I tell you.
But no, I don't know. I still think it'll be... Did I say 180 last time? I think I did.
Yeah, I think you were.
I was 160.
180-ish.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's around that. If it comes out at with discount in under 150, I'll probably get it. I'll put an order in with the local hobby store. You'll get a 20% discount, and I've got a few quid cash monies, untraceable cash monies, stashed away from various, fucking having our birthdays or whatever.
What's your birthday?
Not
Yeah,
that
when's
you
your
get
birthday
much
come up? I
money
might
for
see
your
that then.
birthday when you get to my age, although I think you should. It's more of an achievement.
I'm still alive. Hey!
I'm still alive. Pay me.
Yeah, now once like nephews, nieces, or cousins get to the age of 18, it's like, scratch cards for you. So there you go.
Oh, Keith's asking, what are you saying? Should I say, forgive me, the dragon's milk is kicking my dut? Which is, I don't know what dragon's milk is, but I'm guessing it's alcoholic since it's kicking his dut. But who's on with Sid? Just some hands.
Just some hands. Hands with Storm Boys.
Storm Boy's hands. They're
Storm
Scar's
Boys.
hands.
Ugh.
Not scarred hands. Well, they might be scarred. Oh yeah, Sai's already told him. Nice one, Sai.
On the ball.
And Keith's also asked, again with apologies, that you're putting longer barrels on shooters. Silencers.
Yeah, silencers, man.
Suppressors.
Or as they say in Yankees, suppressors.
Yeah.
Oh, someone was getting very
And Sai's
graphic
already
with me in the
answered that
Discord
now.
there when I was.
We don't really need to do the chat, mate. Sai's taking care of it.
Ah, we're good, man. See? Great moderator. Those might be Sid's hands on the camera.
if I just do that.
Yeah. More impressed that you're able to drink a beer and hobby with both hands at the same time.
There we go, hobby.
Multitasking at its finest.
Yeah, Steve was saying that it's a lofty position for a grot, being head fart collector. Uniform and jar provided. No smoking. No, that's right, Gary. No smoking. Not for the grot fart collector. We've lost too many brave lads that way.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, Distance after the stomper box as well. Yeah, I am probably a major source of gas. Personally, I don't think
the truck.
it is. There is, yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's worth it for.
Is there 5 looters there's 5 looters and 5 borners, is there?
Yeah. You get like 2 lots of the looters. So 10 looters, 10 burners, whatever.
We'll look back over at the screen. We'll have a look back over at it. Yeah, 10 boys, but they're the new boys. 10 looters, a truck.
Yeah, that's why it's a shame.
I mean, I'm tempted. I would. See, I don't have any of the new boys at all, so I won't be too heartbroken about having 10 of them. You know what I mean?
No. Look, they're not bad. I mean, there's a couple of them need a head swap, but the ones that do really need a head swap, in fact, only one comes to mind, and that's the heavy weapon lad. He comes without the head. You stick the head on, as far as I remember, because I know I put a different head on him. I give him on the commando heads with the gas masks.
So I'm not too worried.
I don't know why.
I'm
I just
handy with me new saw.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Aye. With that saw, the world's your oyster, which just rip apart.
So 150 at a discount, 150, 160. You're thinking, hopefully.
I'm thinking before discount about 180.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, just based on the fact that the Stompers. Oh shit! I looked this up. It's not 100 quid. I think it's 85. At the minute, we're talking pounds here, grid like GB pounds. 85 quid. The looters, I believe, are 32.50 a pop. So that's now 65 quid, which puts you about 150. The boys are 32.50 as well, I believe. And that's 182. And then stick a mech on. And I think the mech's going to be about 20, maybe it's 27.50, 25, 27.50, something like that. I don't think you'll hit 30 quid. The big mech with shock attack gun didn't, and he's a big out model. The character models seem to come in between 20 and 30 £.
Which is a bit steep, because anytime I look at...
Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason to it either. I mean, the big mech, sorry, beg your pardon, the Warboss and Mega Armor is cheaper than Zodgrod. Zodgrod's like 27.50, and you look at him and think, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's not much
He's
going
quite...
on. Maybe it's that big base that he's rocking. That's where
oh, they put him on a big base, absolutely, but... all right, okay. It's his base.
It's all about the base, man.
I mean, if you buy bases like separately, you can, you think, oh, maybe that is the case.
Stop with this logical thinking. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's the downfall, isn't it?
It's like GW
trying to apply
just turn your noggin
reason.
off. You'll save yourself the hassle. Just turn your noggin off.
But yeah, so if that comes in at around about the sort of 220, 210, 220 mark, and they normally give about, a good 30% discount. Some of the shittier ones are 20 odd %, but pushing up the late 30s. But if it's a 30% discount, knock 60 quid off that. Say, I think 150 to, I think 180 would be tight of them. But then again, there's a lot of things to do. I think it's tight of them. So, go figure. Sai saying that apparently I could fuel biogas plant, or a biogas plant, if fed the right diet. That's not true, Sai. It's actually the wrong diet.
Twiglets.
Yeah.
Are Twiglets banned at this week already?
I went away with some mates for a weekend in a little farmhouse, and we were just sort of drinking. There was nout for miles around, and I bought some. It was some little water biscuits, and I got some. It wasn't caviar, right? It was lumpfish eggs, the cheap version. I had some of that. I had some goat's cheese. And I had it was a little tub I'd found in the shop, and it was called Gentleman's Relish. And I thought, oh, fuck, I've got to get that.
Relish.
For the Gentleman's Relish, which used to be in the Vis Profanosaurus as a name for. Well, you can probably guess what it was a name for. And it was basically a paste made from anchovies and salt. That was its 2 ingredients. It was salty as hell. And I was putting all 3 of those on crackers and eating them, and that was rife for me pipes. I got told it was just pure greyhound biff. That's what my pals kept saying.
Are you still friends with these people?
Yeah. We're the ones that live.
The ones that survived. Fucking hell.
But I still say at the last meet, I mean, yes, I'm not going to say I didn't fart, but I don't think I was quite as one-sided as people seem to be making out. I think Clint's getting away with murder.
He is indeed.
If
I was doing a fair show myself, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was kind of saying your Twiglet guffs weren't exactly
No, Jesus,
pleasant.
No one's stealing my glory, I can tell you.
Oh, I've just had a text of old Mr. Clint, as it happens.
What happened to him?
He fell asleep on the settee.
You're joking me.
It's been a long week. Well, he does work very long hours, so I think we can forgive him that, to be fair.
Bless his cotton socks.
However, when we go away, I will be farting in his suitcase.
Did you find the fart gas for the wooden spoon yet?
For the You know what? I haven't. I'll probably not do it, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
It'll seem a little bit, I might just supply it with a tin. You can pep it up yourself if you want.
Yeah, well, you know yourself. Supply me with enough pork scratchings and twiglets and
pork scratchings and twiglets.
Oh yeah, Mr. Porky's, wasn't it? I like the Black Country
Mr.
ones.
Porky.
They're fucking beautiful. The Black Country pork scratchings. Can't go wrong.
You get different ones, man. You get some you get some really nice ones, which like are literally just like a pig jigsaw. You think you could sort of put them back together and make the pig have got the fat and the crunchy rind and fucking hairs and all sorts on them. Always used to burn the hairs off with a lighter in the pub. Then you get the ones that are just like bloody bacon flavoured quavers and they're shite.
But I found, like the good ones, they like melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
The really bad ones, it's like chewing on concrete lumps. It's like, holy Jesus. There goes another
But
molar.
you see, they're the two different types you'll get in the same bag.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Depending on how fatty your individual scratching is. Oh, I love a potty scratching.
I know. I'm wishing I had some now, to be honest with you.
Right, what else we got here? Rock Lobster's put here that the GW the video they posted earlier showed the new GAS data sheet. It showed the first or the front of the data sheet, which is fair enough. And he has now got a strike and a swing attack. So he can pagger something or just, sweep and do like loads of attacks at lower strength and damage, which is good. I always thought he was missing that. And his unit's now got the unbridled carnage of exploding fives.
Oh, so exploding 5s and 6s, or just exploding 5s?
Yeah, it's built in his strat. It's an orc strat anyway. At least it is in the current rules. I mean, it will be for like the goth type attachment, where exploding hits on 5s instead of just 6s, 4 on CP. Well, Gaz has got it built into the unit he leads during the war. I think it said. What? Sorry.
4 with a CP.
No, I don't think you'll be able to use the CP on him. I mean, you can if it's not the turn you do the war on. But there was some leaked rules. Again, don't know how much trust you can put in it. Actually, it was just I only saw it on one channel actually, and they were saying that the knob detachment, which I'm guessing is the bully boys, you could just make out on one of the screenshots, is going to be like an elite. Wow, like lots of knobs and mega knobs. And they, according to the leak, get 2 wars. 2 turns of war. So you can declare it twice, which would make something like that unbridled carnage type rule with Gaz pretty powerful. But I do want to see how many spaces he takes up in a truck, because I also changed him from a monster to infantry.
Oh, okay. Was it too much of a downside?
I don't really know. I mean, it means he can move through buildings and stuff now.
Well, that's good.
Whereas monsters didn't used to be able to, whereas he now can. So that's good. But hopefully, I'm saying hopefully. I wonder if they've dropped his.
Don't really care about buildings and would just smash your way through. But
you think, wouldn't you? Have you not seen Godzilla where he's going down like oh, excuse me, coming through. Oh, watch it. Oh, terribly sorry, not
it's
the
like,
window
I'm
box
sorry,
off there.
your permit's not up to scratch. Smash.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. Oh, find me way around. Yeah, he doesn't really care, does he? But if he might take up less than 18 spaces in the vehicle, but that's generally on the back, I think. Hopefully he does. I think he should take up more than 1, but I think 18's a bit of a hike. Well, that's my opinion anyway. So what are you doing there?
So these are the clump foliage bases, and basically I'm sealing them in with like a PVA and water mix. Originally I was putting it on with a brush, but then I found that the local hobby store had like 20 mil syringes basically.
Syringes.
I was using pipettes, but they were only like 3 mil pipettes, so it was taking forever to try and coat them. So Now
Yeah.
I'm literally just sealing them in.
Housing them.
Yeah, because I need them
You
to
not just
seal
dip
up,
them.
and then once that's done, then I can. Once they're sealed up, we can get the paint on them now. But otherwise, they'll fucking Jesus. They'll inhale the paint. They will, because it's basically just coloured sponge anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I suppose I.
But
I
like I
was
said,
thinking it's like, you know, when you used to get the lichen, and it was like rubbery sort of. I don't know what it was. It looked like they just poured latex into some poor bugger's lungs.
oh, the lichen. Yeah. That's an actual. It's just a moss, like.
Yeah, I used to have loads of it, like which is like the rubbery stuff, the modelling stuff, obviously. But the rubbery stuff, it looked like floppy broccoli.
Yeah.
For some reason, it makes us think of somebody in the 80s.
Used to see it a
Which
lot
I
in,
see.
like, used as terrain, especially in like
Mhm.
older editions, so like Rogue Trader and stuff. It was a
Yeah, that's it. You've got a forest and you've got some trees up. You just chuck a bit of that in the gaps in between.
yeah. And you can't go wrong, really.
See, oh, there's Essex in the chat as well now.
Oh, he's woken up, has he?
He's just woke up, got that weird feeling I'm supposed to.
Supposed to be doing something. Ah, no, mate, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Yourself and Sid are holding the fort.
Yeah, Steve was saying Sid and Essex were fucking rank. I assume he's talking about the farts.
Yes.
But did Steve even fart?
I don't know.
I mean, Dim chipped in with a couple as well.
I know he did, yeah. I don't know. Maybe Steve was doing them on the sly and just letting us take the blame for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'll have that one.
That one's mine. I claim
Add that to me kill count.
That still counts as one. Ah, yes.
It was how funny you found your own fart. That killed me.
Yeah.
That absolutely killed me. When you let one go, just the tears rolling down your face. Why do I always end up talking about farts? This is not hobby related.
It was a
I
memorable
can barely
moment,
even
mate.
sculpt mine.
What was the highlight of the meetup for you? Oh, the farts. The farts were legendary. Oh. Top-notch streaming content right here. Sealing bases.
Gary's asking, do they sell pickled pig's feet in the pubs there? I don't, but I've never found a pub that sells pickled pig's feet. But then again, I wasn't born in 1712, so you know, maybe they used to. Don't anymore. They do sell pickled eggs.
Food stuff I've come across in England. I haven't eaten jelly deals, but I know they sell them in pie and mash shops.
Oh, they look fucking horrible though.
I want to try them. I want to give them a bash.
It looks like a raw eel in that jelly you get in a pork pie.
Oh yeah, I'm not fond of pork pies with too much jelly in them.
Nah, bollocks, I hate them.
I like a good pork pie, but when there's way too much jelly in it, I'm like, ugh. Especially when they're cold, man. Ugh, Jesus.
Yeah. Although I think I do. Do you know what? I don't know the last time I had a hot pork pie.
See, but pork pies aren't really a thing over in Ireland. We're more into sausage rolls.
Although there's a baker's I'm actually going to tomorrow when I'm going babysitting the grandbairn. And I got a pork pie there, and it turned out it was actually a pork pie. But it was huge. I thought it was just like a pie, you know, like a pie.
One of them giant ones that normally you buy a slice of or a quarter of.
It wasn't like a full-on like brick pork pie. It was a round one, but I bit into it and I was like, what the hell is this? And it was still a bit warm. And it was so like fatty and so I was like, oh, this is amazing. This I can feel my arteries just
Clogging.
freezing up. Yeah, I was like, this is just a big pork pie, but it was really nice. However,
look, at
I
least
think
you
you're
die
allowed
fucking happy,
one
you know what
per
I mean?
life. I think.
At least you die happy. Arteries clogged and all.
Sci-Fi's asking, does the fart collecting grot come with a Henry Hoover? I don't think you'd be smiling if you did. I don't know if everyone's familiar with Henry Hoovers. It's a British Hoover called Henry with a smiley face and the nozzle comes out of his nose. I never understood the why Henry Hoovers were so popular. They were shite Hoovers, or vacuums.
I think people just enjoyed making memes of them snorting flour.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah.
Huge hot pie with mushy peas on top and mint sauce. Now I have tried pie and mash.
Yeah.
Like the last time myself and the missus were out in, I think it was Rochester with Dread. We saw there was a pie and mash shop there, and I was like, "Fuck it, we have to go in." So we got like pie mash and liquor. That was nice.
Now, is liquor just like it's not liquor? Like, or when you say liquor, most people think of alcohol.
Yeah.
This is like is it just like a thin gravy?
Yeah, it's like a thin sauce, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, but like Tommy says, hot pie with mushy peas, or a meat pie floater, as I've heard it called.
A meat
where you just
pie
have a
floater.
Yeah, they give you. We they used to do this night when I worked. It was in a supermarket, and the blokes there, and I was only a kid at the time. I was only about 18. They used to organise a night, which was like it was a local sports club. It was the Blue Flames Club, which was a local like amateur football team. And we used to go to the bar there, and they'd organise. It was 5 strippers, a comedian, and a pie and pea supper. And you got like for your food, you got a bowl full of mushy peas with a pie just plopped in the middle, then a big squirt of tomato ketchup on top. And it was always a highlight for me.
Comedian wasn't great, I take
it. Well, the comedian that booked was supposed to be decent, but they cancelled, so they got some standing at the last minute.
Oh Jesus, that's never a good sign.
It was a lass. It was this wife turned up, and she was probably very experienced comedian. Now she was in her 50s and what have you, but she came on and she sort of like she turned up for a night with strippers for blokes and all this, and it was like, was probably the worst possible sort of audience, to be fair. But I just remember she was quite funny.
Well, Dim has appeared. Hey, you've joined the stream, Dim.
Yeah, I just came here to say, right, that Steve-O didn't need to fart at me because he stunk it out with his smelly fucking Bad Moon shit. Right. And those fucking disgusting bloody Squinkhog riders.
Oh, you're still not happy about them? We had revenge on Dread, though. I still can't get over Dread and his Billy Big Bollocks moment with the Warboss on the bike racing out in front. Oh, yeah, I'll get you all. And then lo and behold, next turn, what gets shot off the table? And then his face as well. It's like, well, what did you expect? Like, you just...
It was the moment of realization when you looked around the back of the room and noticed the big guns there.
Oh yeah.
And we were playing an edition where they didn't hit on 6s. So
that was hilarious. It's like, surprise! You didn't see these ones, did you? No.
Curtains fell down from the windows.
Yeah, quite.
And there they were.
It's curtains for you now, mate.
Have I messed with the? I probably have. You know.
Ah, it's alright. I've knocked frames. It's grand.
Uh,
It's all good. I've managed to get me system up and running again so we can jiggery pokery things live as they happen.
let's see if the camera works. Probably won't. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's the story, bud?
There we go.
What hobby are you up to? I am currently jizzing all over me wonky Christmas trees, as you do.
As we've all done many times.
Slightly out of season, but getting there.
I mean, I've been listening to it whilst I've been searching through bits boxes, which is why I didn't jump on earlier. But I have finished my death
Oh, you
roller
did it, yeah.
Death roller.
Nice.
with rivets.
Well, it's for a grot tank, so it's not as big, so it's more like a hard of hearing roller.
I mean, I want to argue, but it's accurate. And there's the. So it'll be a Death Killer War Trike. So I've now got to flatten and make work one of the GW orbital bases, which are entirely fucking redundant, and I don't know why they exist because they seem to be houses exclusively for four-wheeled vehicles. Four wheels don't fall over because they've got four wheels.
Ah, but you're trying to apply logic.
Yeah, I know. This is the mistake.
They're not a very good shape, even for a four-wheeled vehicle, because you do have quite a lot of real estate at the front and at the back and at the sides, which isn't in use, isn't sort of...
Well, exactly. This is kind of the problem with
area.
them because, I mean, the buggies have always been kind of a line breaker unit. That's kind of what they're for, is to break through lines and flank. And granted, I will accept 40k is now a skirmish where outflanking stuff sort of doesn't really work that way anymore, in spite of the fact that they still put outflanking mechanics into the game. But like making it have such a big cumbersome base basically means it can't do that thing because it can't basically insert itself between two units because it's just not going to have the room most of the time to do it, and it's not going to have the movement to do it effectively. So it's sort of just a thing that moves around and shoots, which I think describes 99% of the units in 40k. Granted, that's slight hyperbole because like there's a lot of Tyranid stuff that doesn't shoot at all.
Yeah. It just moves around though.
Yeah, but the thing is all of the units that I'm thinking, there must be at least 4 or 5 units in the Tyranid range minimum that are just combat. But thinking about all the bunch of ones that I was going to list, half of them do have ranged options because Tyranids are fucking weird like that. So, because even the ones that are almost exclusively combat have things like Spine Fists, which are ranged, and have always been ranged. So I think it's just, and I don't even think it's Lictors. I'm sure Lictors have got fucking some projectile. So like,
it's probably vomit.
well, I think the Screamer Killer has the vomit thing because it used to vomit in Second Ed, and then it didn't for a very, 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 very long time. I don't think. Although, yeah, maybe it didn't fall.
I think, yeah.
I
Did you not do biomorphs in like 3rd edition and 4th edition and stuff where you could
the
give them...
the biomorph thing in third was very limited. It was a brilliant idea, but you basically made them slightly different. You made them slightly different to how they were.
You made them
Slightly.
a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, and on the whole, yeah, you made them slightly more expensive. But sometimes you got something good out of it, like you could stick rending claws on certain things.
I remember the Warriors being really good for that.
Mm.
You could do quite a lot.
The Warriors benefited mostly from the mutable genus thing, but then like you only really had like I think it was like 5 units back then that you could actually fuck about with. I think it was 5.
You could do like Carnifexes, you could do Tyranid Warriors, the bulk standard troops. You could do. Some of them were more mutable than others. Do you remember there was like a specific like ones could take multiple mutations where others could were more restricted. And then I know there was
Yeah.
some that couldn't take any, but they were in the.
I think in third it was just the Hive Tyrant, the Warriors, the Gaunts. Struggling now.
I mean, yeah.
Rippers were one of them, and then I think
Because you could make them flying, couldn't you?
yeah, there's some quirky shit that you could do, but it got better with the codex that followed it, the one for fourth, where they made it interesting. Some of the shit that was in it was dodgy, and some of it was shit, but it was a lot better because it was a very, very restricted thing. Like there wasn't really too much you could actually do that was interesting. It was the third Ed Tyrant book was a weird one because it was almost a 3.5, but it was too early, really.
It does remind me of the 3.5 Chaos Codex in that like
Mm.
it was very customizable and you could make an army of your own design. It was very sort of.
What's that for, Sid? Are you saying that you need bourbon to get through this conversation? Is that?
Gary was asking what I was drinking or
right.
before, without interrupting. I don't know if that's reversed or not though. So, but it's
I saw it. I saw it.
Bourbon cask.
Yeah, I do like a bit.
Very
of bourbon.
nice. I still say bourbon, not bourbon. I don't know why. I know it's wrong.
Basement.
I like the biscuits.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. As soon as you say that, I'm like, ooh, biscuits.
So, Scar, are you actually going to get these finished?
The Storm Boys, I reckon. Yeah, I've got the airbrush up and running. The Storm Boys are finished being built. The bases are mostly sealed. I'm sealing some of them in. So, like, I'm going to be airbrushing like a mad hero for base coats. I mean, they won't be pretty, but they'll have paint on them. You know what I mean?
They'll be pretty fly.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah,
there you go.
Doing like this,
Hey.
we're just syringing stuff on instead of doing it with a paintbrush. Because doing it with a paintbrush was a lot more controlled and not as messy, but it's like it just took a lot longer. So this is, do you know what? I would have been better off just doing a big vat and just dipping the bloody things in them.
I was just thinking that before. Could you not just dip them?
Yeah, but it's like having a tub that's deep enough to do it. Now, some of them are actually quite tall. They're probably like 7 or 8 inches. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, some of them are tall. Only a handful of them are tall, but I've done variations in height. So some of them are, most of them are mid-range to short, and then 1 or 2 are tall. Because I wanted to visually, I wanted the unit to when I placed them, you'd have the ones on the taller plumes on the back, and then the ones on the shorter plumes at the front. You know what I mean? So that
because they're coming into land, sort of
coming
thing.
in at you. Yeah. So visually, it looks cooler. Well, that was me thinking the sort of.
No, that's good thinking. That look cool. You can always do them the other way around as
I've
well.
wanted to do for years and years and years. I just didn't have the gumption to cut the Stone Boys off their bases and do it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some Storm Boys that I'm working on, but when I found out the Scar was doing the flocky Storm Boys, it's like, this is not stealing my fucking thunder. I'm not gonna make the mistake of making a feeble imitation of what Scar managed to get done in the time.
I mean,
that sounded like just a bad idea.
Like, I was thinking in regards to Stone Boys for grots, because I've a good few of those grots now on jetpacks, but looking at them, it's just the one grot, and he's pretty monopose. So it would be interesting to see your take on them then, on what conversions you would do, like, do you know what I mean, to try and get the most out of that monopose grot. Like, there's 2 backpacks for him, but a bit of
well, my solution, if I can find where the heck I've put them, because I do have them, is to use Blood Bowl goblins and give them grot heads. because they're slightly more pausable, and it's easier to hide fucking around with the monopause
The new Degrutz.
because they're all wearing armor.
Degrutz in the fantasy box though. Ooh.
Well, that's where the knob comes from. So, oh my god, that's fuzzy as fuck.
That's what she said.
Probably not good. Yeah, I'm not going to get good detail on that. But he's. I decided. I don't. Can you still give the? You probably can't these days. Can the knob even have a power claw these days?
Don't boy knob, yeah.
I've been giving
Yeah.
out like free candy.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
You can't have, I don't think he has been able for a while to have a big chopper, but he can have a chopper or a power claw.
Because why not ride your power claw?
That sounds dirty.
Well, yeah. Well, I use the word ride in front of an Irishman. I'm already, well on the way.
You should
But
be
yeah.
so lucky.
Well, if I play my cards right.
That's a lot
But,
of alcohol.
It's going to be a long week.
It'll need a lot of alcohol. Let's face it.
I don't think I'll be a problem.
Even with my more seductive moves, it'll take a lot.
Jesus.
This is a 90-pinter.
Thankfully, we're only getting one bottle of slow gin off, so otherwise
Yeah.
we'd be in trouble.
But yeah, so I've also got the I've been sitting on well, not literally sitting, but I've been sitting on these fuckers for years. These are the old Stormboy rockets.
Like second ed Stoneboys.
The third ed ones.
Ah, very good.
I would love to get my hand on some of the second ed ones because they've got a rustic charm that I really like, but they're liquid horse piss to get because they're so fucking hard to get. Because you didn't need to get them. You could have Stormboys without the rockets back then. Why? I've got no fucking clue why you would do that, but
They love a march. They love to march.
Yeah. But then, well, I suppose I think that was the problem. In second ed, they were a liability because you rolled that artillery dice every time you moved it, and you got that extra movement. Or you rolled a misfire, and your Stormboy died, and they didn't really do much when they got there.
For each boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they moved that distance. Or was it the squad? I can't remember. It might have just been the squad, so I think it might have only lost one a turn. But that could still be quite bad. No one seconded it probably was per rocket because they did bullshit like that back then. Which must have been a fucking nightmare for coherency. Must have been a fucking nightmare.
Oh, yeah,
Because you're talking 2 to 10 inches extra movement. Oh, hang on a minute. Why am I fucking describing it? Fucking got the book. Let's have a look. Oh, turn to the right page, but the wrong section. So, oh yeah, just look at them rockets, man. Just look at them. Look how good they look.
Yeah,
They're so cool.
They got the mechanical.
Yeah, they've got proper Stormboy uniforms on, though, of old.
Yeah, that wouldn't work that these days. Notice those sort of like jagged lightning bolts that look rather like a certain letter.
Now, we'll have none of that here.
It's S for Stormboys.
S for Super Stormboys.
Super Stormboys. Where are the rules? Oh, hang on, it's in the actual Wargear section, isn't it? Let's have a look. Oh, the shock attack gun and its random damage chart. Stormboy jump axe. Instead of rolling jump axe follow the normal rules. Page 71. Instead of rolling D3 for the deviation of the jump, roll the artillery dice and half the score. Oh, right, okay. Is that it? I never used them. I just read the rulebook, so I read the codex. So, if you roll a misfire, roll the artillery die. Yeah. See, the rules of the Misfire talks about the Storm Boy. But I mean, some of the second ed rules are so janky, it's hard to tell.
Like second ed was, I think
Never used a jump pack unit in second, so I've got no idea how they worked.
I joined while second ed was coming, but I was playing Warhammer Fantasy at the time, so when I actually, my first box set of stuff was a third ed. So like, did you play much second ed back in the day, or?
I did. I played a decent amount,
Quite
but
a good second.
I was very restricted on what I had because I was a skint child, I had the plastic stuff mostly, and for my sins, I used a lot of those plastic Gretchen and Orks when I played Orks. And I had a couple of metal characters, and I had a couple of vehicles, and that was my Orks. Mostly, I used Genestealer Cult because it was a lot easier to make a half-decent army with what little shit I had. And I'd got the Space Hulk box set, so I had 20 Genestealers to play with. And a friend of mine sold me the Patriarch for like £5, the one sitting in the chair.
The fat pure strain, basically.
Yeah. Well, there's a walking fat pure strain that I've got somewhere as well. I've kept both of them, but yeah, I didn't use Orks all that much in second. I don't know if you did, Sid.
I did use Orks. I'm trying. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think I blocked a lot of second out.
It was janky as fuck. I mean,
especially in the combat.
I mean, so was Rogue Trader, but Rogue Trader
Rogue Trader was as well. Yeah,
Rogue Trader had a certain spirit to it that I think Back and Dead forgot.
It had the advantage of we don't know any different. You know, we don't know it can be any other way. You know, if you're brought up on gruel, you get to enjoy gruel, and then not until you have something better, then you go, gruel's shit. You know what I mean?
The combat system was the worst part.
I did play Orks in second, and I was going to say I played Chaos Space Marines as well. I didn't. I had a Chaos Space Marine army, but that was towards the end when I just bought them because I was at college then. I had a student loan, so I had money, and I bought an army. Never used them though. Just built it and painted it.
It's a shame, really, because it's a fucking fantastic codex, the Second Dead Chaos one. Yeah, I think it was the last one. I think it was the very last one. Yeah. Sisters might have been after it, possibly. But it was very, very late. It's a huge one. It's massive. Dwarfs, like, basically all the other ones by a significant way. It's much bigger.
I never had I didn't buy a great deal of codexes. I think I bought the Ork one. I bought the Orks and Goblins for Fantasy 4th edition. I had more fantasy than I had 40k, to be fair. I definitely feel a larger army in fantasy.
I was much the same myself. Like, I had fucking loads of Warhammer Fantasy stuff. Starting off.
My Warhammer Fantasy tastes were weird, because I regret not collecting Orcs and Goblins at the time. I really do regret it. Which is
books for them, like my heyday of it was like 6th, 7th edition. The 6th edition codex for Orcs or army book was fucking shocking. I hate the animosity rules.
It got worse.
I thought they were stupid.
The animosity rules in 7th were even worse.
Really?
And they were written by a certain person who I'm not going to name.
No. Fucking hold on. Do I have it?
Hang on.
No, I don't have a fucking bollocks.
I'm disappointed now, but yeah, he got a lot of flack for the Ork book, the later Ork book, and how weak it was. And he said his response to a lot of it was he underpowered the Orcs and Goblins for fluff reasons.
Cool. There it is.
Fresh, funky fresh.
I found it. Hey.
Waiting for it to go off.
Hopefully that was okay.
Because they're miles behind, aren't they? So it's just
there's a bit of lag because of the way you.
There it is.
Games.
I see it. Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, I've pretty much got everything reinstalled.
Yeah. Excellent.
Stream-wise, so we're grand.
Because I have no
Yeah,
idea
we'll
how
have
you
some
do any of
technical
those worky
difficulties.
bits. Yeah.
Well, see, when I come over to visit in a few weeks, I can set it up on everyone's computer. I'll be like, hey.
Yeah.
No stopping you now, lads.
That's what you think. You've underestimated my distinct lack of talent. By quite a way.
For some reason. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Unlikely. I'm fucking shit with computers. I still don't know how I managed to edit the fucking video. And now I've edited like double figures, quite a way into double figures worth of videos. Mostly for the Warbosses. Even though Sid's are all better than mine, but you know, not difficult, low bar. Well, unfortunately, I've just realised you're giving quite a backhanded compliment to Sid there.
Yeah, you did.
It wasn't
You
intended.
cunt.
Yours are better, but mine are really shit. So yours are just slightly better than really shit.
Oh, but you use like, oh, fuck off.
Hey.
Oh god. But yeah, Second Ed sucked. Right? For those who go, oh, Doom doesn't like anything new. Second Ed was shit, right? I mean, it had more charm than the last 5 editions of 40k has ever had, but it was shit as a system. It was terrible.
I take it the main issue was the scale, that it was really
It
skirmish.
didn't know what it wanted to be. It did not know what it wanted to be. And I think that's a problem that has plagued 40k its entire life. And I think it is... This is weird. This is a weird take. Brace yourselves. I think it is right that 40k is that fucked over the question. Because the second it drops the question, it stops being 40k. Because that's kind of the point, is it's 40k has always been a halfway house somewhere between mass battle game, small skirmish, roleplay game. It needs all 3 of those elements there in some combination. It has spent 10 editions trying to figure out what the sweet spot is, and it still hasn't found it. I think one day it will. I hope one day it will. But it'll take a little bit of work. And the problem they now have is because we've had so many editions where they've kind of created new atmospheres around 40k, that I think we're now at a point where there's so many sweet spots for different people that even when they do find the sweet spot that I want, it won't be what anybody else wants, which is part of the reason why I'm so
that's
dejected.
Part of the course, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You can't please all the people all the time.
Yeah.
But you can upset everyone to some degree.
Well, I think that's what they found out in 9th, because they did manage to piss everybody off by the end of it. I mean, it is
by the end of it, yeah.
It is quite funny in hindsight seeing certain people who took a swing at me in sort of early 9th, like say, "Oh, this is the best edition ever." Well, by the end of it, most people who like 40k didn't like 9th, which I thought was quite satisfying, really, because I predicted quite a lot of it.
I think by the end, 7th Ed was pretty bad, because I came...
Oh, it was the worst, easily.
I came back to Ireland at the end of 7th, and I was going to the local gaming stores, wargaming nights, and there was literally like 2 or 3 tables playing 40k. And I mean, like, even now, if you try and book a table, you just can't, because so many people stopped playing by the end of 7th. So many.
Yeah, it was.
And when 8 dropped, it was like, Jesus, you couldn't get a table in the place.
Yeah, I think probably, I accept that 7th is probably the worst for most people. I actually hate 8th more. I'm not going to dwell on that too much. I think it was my least. I found it the least enjoyable experience, because I was playing games with like a combat army, and I was getting killed in Overwatch trying to get into combat and getting wiped.
I mean, that was 7th for me, to be honest with you.
Seventh I managed all right, but because one of my army themes was accidentally quite OP for a while. But also I was running Genestealer Cult Guard, and Guard had good tools against some of the bullshit, like say Ravenwing with its unbelievably evil here's R2 plus rerollable cover save against everything. Other than things that ignore cover, which there's not very much in 40k that does that. So it was like 7th ed towards the end. It was like, here's some armies you just can't kill, and you're like you've realised you've lost in deployment, and now you've got to spend 3 hours playing a game. At least with 8th and 9th, you realise that you were going to lose, and you played you had potential for that game to end a hell of a lot quicker. Potential, anyway. But I don't know. There's bits of 10th that I kind of like the sound of. I just wish they'd done a bit more. It's getting there. Getting back to the spirit of what it was. I think 8th and 9th was a colossal mistake entirely. I think it was too much in the wrong direction. There's too much simplicity. And yet it wasn't simple enough. Which is why they've got this bullshit excuse about how it's like it's simple but it's not easy. It's simple but it's complex, or whatever the fuck it is. It's like it's either simple or it's not.
It's what's the saying? Stick it in chat. It's something like simple, but not simple. Well, not that, but it's something like that.
Yeah, but it's just like it's classic GW. It's like it's like when they were getting criticism for the game being unbalanced, and they moved to our games are about telling a narrative. We don't care about balance. It's about forging the narrative. It's that moving the goalpost shit they do all the time. So I don't put much stock in it.
But not simple or something like that, is it? Or
yeah,
I mean,
but
that in a
not
nutshell,
though.
that's what it means.
It's not though. I guarantee you, right?
It's a snappier way to put it.
I mean, I did watch Goober Town's. I would quite like to bring up Goober Town's video because I did quite enjoy watching it. I think he makes some good points. I come at it from a different angle because I'm not. I suppose by traditional sense, I'm a casual player because I don't think tournaments matter. So I'm in the casual lot. But I wouldn't say I'm strictly a casual player because I obsess over the rules. So I'm not casual in that sense. But it was interesting seeing that he puts a lot of the problem in the complicated rules. And I don't know, like I like complicated rule sets, but I think 3rd edition is a simpler system than the current system is by a long way. Easier argument to make for 9th, but I mean, let's face it, 9th wasn't good. So that's not much of a bar to fall under. But I still think that 3rd edition was a simpler system. But I might be a little. Well, I know I'm biased, but it might just be because I'm trying to rewrite 3rd at the moment that I'm just thinking about it a lot. That it seems simple to me, but I do think overall it's a simpler system because it's hard to describe. But basically, it's better at the system solving its own problems, whereas the problem they've had since 8th is they've got too much rules outside of the rule book that's doing a lot of heavy lifting, and as a result, you've got rules conflicts all the time that you shouldn't have. I know I keep coming back to this, but the classic one for me was always the 8th ed one of the mobile fortress, where the battle wagon had a rule where you move, it doesn't affect your shooting. But the occupants inside, does that rule affect them? And GW's FAQ was no. And I'm like, fucking why? That makes no sense. It only, it's nice to have clarification, but the problem with the clarification is how did they figure that out? The rules don't tell you to do that. The rules aren't prepared for things in transports to shoot because they simplified that out of the game. So they had to put it in for factions like Orcs through the open
there wasn't that
control.
many factions had a unit or vehicle which did have essentially a firing deck, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at all the 20-odd factions that there was only a small, very small handful, like a B-less handful of factions which had it. Orcs, Drakari, and maybe one or two others.
But that's the risky run if you go heavy abstract, because that's what 40k is now. It's very heavy abstract. It's always been an abstract game. You can't take abstract out of wargaming, because at the end of the day, you're trying to tell other people through the medium of a book or a PDF how to play a game that someone else is playing on a different table when they designed it. And you can't communicate those ideas without abstracts. But the very heavy abstract way they've got that's the downside of it. If you go too abstract, your rules have got to multitask. And it was quite nice because you've started to see little inklings that GW started to figure that out, and they've done it a little bit, and they did it a little bit in 9th, which is why early 9th I think was promising, and then it veered off.
We did get a comment just before. I just want to jump in. Harren Royer said they're saying the little catchphrase is simple, but it's not. And then that's pretty much, you know.
Matt Ward, a cunt, but he's not.
Well, no, that's different, isn't it? Is it simplified but not simple? Was that it? I know it was a take on
Simplified
simple.
but not simple. Yeah, that's
yeah, but it was the same.
That sounds like it has a ring
twice.
that some corporate idiot would think is a clever thing to say. Yeah, I'll buy that. Simplified but not simple. Right. As if that means anything. Even, well, you have to, really. That's the kind of money they charge for their rules design. So you're sort of forced. And then it gets replaced in less than 3 years. Party. Well, depending on how you view replacive rules, you might be talking weeks or hours.
Well, how old is 10th edition now?
A year? I want to say. Probably coming on for a year.
Was it last summer? Last summer it came out.
So coming on for a year.
I know 9th came out in the summer. That came out in the June of 20.
So if we're getting the codex now, if they
it was
keep up
Saturday.
The rate that they're going, what?
Oh yeah, that's the theme of today, isn't it? I've not said anything. I'm going to continue to not say anything.
Oh, about the codex.
I have no predictions that are not bleak. So
you're nothing.
I think it's going to be shit.
Consistent in your opinion.
I think it's going to be shit. It probably will be. I might be wrong. I'll be delighted if I am. We kind of guessed this, didn't we? I'll talk about the mages because the mages, at least I like, for the most part, apart from one certain mage. But the beast snaggers on the whole, I like. So it's good they're sticking them in a combat patrol. I knew they'd kind of stick with them. They probably want to milk them for all of the money, and because they're obviously not sort of running for bus passes like some of the Orky kits that are not the buggies.
It's
getting
nice
on
as
quite
well
a
that
bit.
it, at least that it sticks to a theme.
Yeah.
Whereas the combat patrol, the previous one, which had
those boys.
We know going to one, but we'll cover the type of boys. We know it's.
You guys were talking about this before I jumped in, so yeah, let's not retread.
Boys with a warboss in mega armor who can't lead the boys. Deathcopters.
I do like me those Deathcopters. I would quite like to get them, but I'm not in a hurry.
I like nearly all of the models. Like about 75% of the units in that box, I'm quite keen on. But it's not thematic, other than it's obviously orcs. But it's not like Deathcopter, speedy.
Well, I think it is slightly. It is slightly because GW still has this problem, and I think like if they're going to give us a boys kit, right? For one thing, it can't be monopause. If they're going to give us a proper boys kit to replace the old one, because I would love those arching forward backs to go, right? So I'm not against a new boys kit at some point, but it's got to be posable. You've got to be able to add a lot of variation. And I just think just give us a lot of fucking bits to add onto the boys to make them look different. Kind of like the flash kits, but don't do it in a shit way. Like they did with the flash kits.
Done it with the commandos as well.
Yeah.
Lots of little bits. Even things like you've got them. They brought the t-shirts back with the commandos. So they've got the t-shirts with the sleeves rolled up slightly. Then you had the little sort of pouches you could stick on the upper arm and that. Like,
well,
you know,
they are a little cluttered, but they are dripping in character, which is something they haven't done with orcs in a long time. That's the best kit they've made in a long time. I don't just mean best orc kit. I think it's one of the best kits they've made in a long time. I do really like those buggies. I hate the fact they're monopause. I've hated that about them ever since. But I like the fact that they did the thing. They did the thing where they put out 6 kits that went entirely against the greater knowledge of the internet that decided orc vehicles are just spit and plates of metal and boxes made of wishes. It's like, behold, 6 sleek designs. Fuck you, you cunts. We've got planes that look like planes.
I hate the and I'm not even going to say law, although I did just say it there. But I hate the sort of the meme.
The meme law. Call it meme law.
Like, you know, orc technology is, oh, that's got no fuel in, but I think it has, so it'll work fine. Oh, look, it works. And the guns just pick up a stick and go dagger, 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 and bullets will fly out because York believes it's a gun. I hate it. I hate it.
It's not even correct though, because the problem is there's a lot of people on sort of Facebook and stuff that are just denying that law exists because they think it's too ridiculous to exist. It's like, it does exist. It's just, it's a little nuanced, and you probably shouldn't play with too much. But at the same time, like, the denial is just as ridiculous. Yeah.
Even yellow is more explodey and all the rest of it. But just taking it to the nth degree is just, it's too far. It's too far.
The limit is orc imagination, but the alternative to the limit of orc imagination is mechs are very imaginative, and they have genetic knowledge of technology. They have knowledge of how to make things that the Imperials have forgotten how to make. That they can't make unless they've got a fucking blueprint. And I know they're trying to reverse that now with the... no, I'm not going to bring up Paul and all that shit. But yeah, like we've got planes that look like planes. We've got buggies that look like buggies, right? We've got aerodynamic designs. We have sleek designs.
How does that vehicle even work as a plane?
We have teleporting technology.
Really big.
We've got
space world figures on the side.
Yeah, we've got guns that pull shit out of fucking the sky, right? What about orc tech is shit? Nothing, right? It's presentation sometimes, mostly in this fucking book, right? This one, where all the Forge World shit's from, that was set on a scrap world where all they had was scrap, not proper metal, just scrap. So yes, the vehicles from the setting where they had to build shit from scrap plates look like scrap plates, people of the internet. Rest of it, not so much. But this is actually leaning very nicely towards the point I wanted to make, right? Which is that's the problem with our boys, is they look too goth, in my opinion. They're far too goth. They always are. Like, there's nothing in a boys kit to give you that little bit of personalization. Like, I'm just thinking, like, is it for fun? It might be for fun. Have, like, shoulder pad things that you can add onto boys. One of the shoulder pads is like a fucking tire. Perfect for Evil Sun's place.
Yeah, it is fun, yeah.
You could add little bits like that just theme your boys a little bit. And, you know, like, every orc player likes to add to their bits box. If you make an orc kit that gives you spares And we know they're not against doing that because that's what the current fucking flyer kit does, right? Just do more of that. I would pay 40 quid, right, for a box of maybe not 10 boys, but maybe a little bit more than 10. But like even 10, I'd pay close to that for having, if by the end of it, my 3 sprues were not fucking empty or not full of things I can't use.
Yeah.
If they're full of things that I could use in other things as like little extra details and as little extra gubbins to stick on things, like vehicles, like other boys units, or like other orc specialist units, fucking give me that. I'll buy that 10 times. That boys kit, I'll buy once and be done with it. And I might not even buy it once, because to be honest, half the heads are fucking shit. And the ones that, like, the knob is great, but it's like, do I want it that bad? Probably not. Probably
I
not.
think when you used to get, I mean, even with the old boys kit, one thing which sets it aside is the fact that you got 10 boys and a knob. Now, the knob wasn't great.
Terrible.
He was less than great. He was less.
Yeah,
he was
big
less
boy
than.
size. I always took a knob from the knob
Yeah.
unit and put him in.
It's slightly better.
If you give him a
Yeah.
chopper, he was indistinguishable. You had to give him like a power claw or something.
It's slightly better than,
probably
yeah.
almost nearly, maybe a bit off, acceptable. But
Yeah.
it give you the option of having 10 boys.
Yeah.
And then going, I'm going to get 20 boys, and then buying our kit and having 20 boys, having a little spare fella, you know, which you could do with whatever you wanted, and you had different options for torsos in there as well. There was as in like I think there was a couple. It was a spare torso in case you wanted to make him just a straightforward boy, or you know different backpacks for heavy weapons, all that sort of stuff. But with the new ones, if you want 30 boys or 20 boys, because obviously unit size, and you buy 2 units of those, you've got 20. But you've got 20 models. You've got 2 knobs. You've got 2 heavy weapons, whether you want them or not. You've then got obviously the whole sort of issue of, was it 14 slugger choppers and 4 shooters, or is it 12 slugger choppers and 6 shooters, or whatever it is? You can't just go, I've bought 2 kits, I've got a unit of 20 orcs, they're all going to have slugger choppers, they're all going to have shooters. There's 1 knob. I've decided not to bother with heavy weapons, which I didn't as a rule when you had to pay for them, because they're not going to hit.
By the way, that was one of my predictions for the codex, is when the boys hit. I'm expecting that you get them in multiples of 20. Boys turn up as 20 boys to distinguish them from beast snaggers.
Or 20 as opposed to have 10.
Their weapon options are literally what that monopause kit has, and that's your options. That's one of my horrible predictions. And then the second the codex comes out, the pausable boys kit disappears.
So
I want to be wrong on that.
When you buy a unit of boys, it costs you 160 points, say, and you get
20.
Not 10, 5. I think you get 20 boys, and you get let's be honest.
Yeah,
you get 2 knobs, 2 heavy weapons, 5 slugger choppers, and 3 shooter boys. Oh, sorry, 10 slugger choppers and 6 shooter boys.
Although I didn't
exactly just 2 kits of the monopause.
Although I didn't realize
Gorg and possibly Mork that you're wrong.
Is the monopause boys box that you buy, is that normally just 10 orcs? Like
it's 10 orcs, yeah.
All right, okay. Well, okay. Just you get the 10 orcs, but that's if you want 20, you get multiple of those.
Oh yeah. No, it is 10 in the box.
I thought it was always 20. So that's my fault. But right, okay.
Not for 32, 150. No.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, hang on a minute, that doesn't seem right. That's a value prospect. Right, okay, yeah.
Would that mean that 10 is then the unit size? Like they've done with commandos now. It's 10. It's not 5. It never was 5. But it's not 15 or 20 or even 30, God forbid. It's just 10. Because a unit of 10 boys.
Or maybe,
very small horde.
Yeah.
I know obviously you get lots of units, but still. I mean,
you might maybe
pretty weak.
Maybe they make it so that either you can take 20, or maybe even worse than that, right? I'll make this even worse. So your options are literally what that Monopause Boys kit is, but the second time you get them, you only get 9 because you can't take 2 knobs. But that makes a squad of 19.
You can have units
That makes a squad of
10 or
19, which they've deliberately designed that way so that you can stick a Warboss into a unit of boys and stick him in a battle wagon. It's not only cynical, but it's also a way for them to force you to take that kit.
I found the stay on target meme. Hey.
Stay on target.
We're on target.
Because of the way they do it now with, like, you know, you can only have it in set numbers and it's what comes in the box, basically, or divisible by what comes in the box.
Yeah.
That's where you do cause problems with that new boys kit because of the fact that one of them is a knob. And it's not sort of like, I mean, even with the old boys knob, you'd get away with saying, you know, building them like a boy. But with this one, you can't. He's much better as a knob. You're right. I like him. I like the chopper. I like the power claw.
I'm not normally a big chopper man. I want a big chopper knob from that kit at some point. This is all good.
I think I built them with the. Oh no, I've built both because I nicked the knob, the spare knob I had because I was building a squad of knobs and I was like, I had a lot less than I thought I had. I'd been chopping up for all sorts of stuff and I ran out of knobs basically. From the knobs kit, so I grabbed him. But he's definitely not a boy. Unmistakably not a boy. He's bigger and he's got knob equipment. So yeah, if you're doing it like that, a unit of 20 is going to be what's going on here. You know, how do you get around that with what you get in the box? And a unit of 10 or 19 is it's unfortunately a solution to that. But that's fucking horrible.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Really hope I'm wrong. But I could just see it. I could just see it happening because they could just they'll just not say anything. The codex will drop, and then like a week later, the boys killed disappear, and you just have those monopause ones. Now I go back and forth on this because I don't ever think that kit was ever intended as a replacement to the boys kit. I don't think it was ever intended that way. I've said this before, but I think that and those Deathcopters were intended for a box set that never happened. Similar.
The boys kit. I don't know about the Deathcopter. That's the boys kit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, similar to what's its face?
Assault and
Assault and Blackreach. I wouldn't even be surprised if what's that fucking Black Library model?
Off-tack Black Hawk.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe he's a resculpt of the Warboss that was going to be in there. Or something. Or maybe it was intended to be him. And they just decided, let's make it a... Although that's a bit far-fetched because they've done like Black Library tie-in miniatures too many times before for that to make too much sense. So I don't know. Because normally you would expect a HQ with that. Unless this is what this Big Mech thing is. But I don't think so because we've seen that that Big Mech has options. If there's a character coming at any point, there'll be a character that will probably appear in our range at some point, I suspect. Or maybe they didn't get that far. But if there was a character intended for that box set, it'll be entirely monopause, so there won't be any options.
Yeah, but is that not part of the course in general these days? Like,
no, they do options. They do options sometimes. I mean, fucking hell, with that Big Mech, you can get rid of that awful head and have a slightly less terrible head.
It's a pointy chin. It's not even orky. Jesus.
It's such a fucking terrible model. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But I've decided to stop moaning. Well, I know I'm moaning about it now, but I'm trying not to moan about it. Well, what I thought was because I haven't.
You about all this.
I haven't done any.
I'm not going to moan about it anymore.
I haven't done much with my channel for a while, so I'm thinking probably the thing to do would be okay, put your money where your mouth is, cunt. Try and make something that looks better, and go. Behold, this is what it should have looked like. Is what I'm trying to do, which terrifies me because the main thing is like I know the thumbnail's got to be the Drake beam, and it's just like What the fuck is this cunt doing with a Drake meme?
Yeah, fuck it. I've used the Drake meme before.
I mean, yeah, but I'm such a fucking fossil that I mean, I don't even know how I know it's the Drake meme. I don't even know who the fuck Drake is, really. How the fuck do I know
Yeah,
this?
I'll be right. I did not know it was a Drake meme until you said it there. Until you said Drake, I knew it was a meme, and I knew what you meant immediately.
Yeah,
But it doesn't even look like a duck. So I don't know what a Drake is. But I knew which one you meant.
yeah.
Steve-O says you rarely mention it to him.
What? What the fact that the big mech model that they've just put out is the worst Ork model ever made? Yes, I very rarely mention
sure your opinion of it.
I thought you were still on the fence, in all honesty.
There's probably a few people going, hang on a minute, I've seen some fucking terrible shit from Rogue Trader that is horrible compared to that, and I'm like, prefer those. I prefer those. You can dig out any fucking shit from the Ork catalog. You can throw Captain Courtiers from Third Ed at me, and I'll go, no, that Big Mech's still worse. I'm digging in on that. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
Are we gonna have to get a pointy chin Big Mac meme now? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Every time it's
I mean, I thought
hey, fucking giant fucking.
I just like I thought I knew it would happen someday. I knew that we would get a head that was worse than that Painboy head. I didn't realize it would happen so quick.
I'll be honest.
It's only been 5 years.
As much as I think the Big Mac, I like the Big Mac. I'll say it. I mean, hot take. I like it. But I don't like the Painboy. It's strange.
It is awful as well.
I don't like the Painboy. I do think the Painboy head is better than the pointy chin.
Oh.
It is more characterful.
I don't know how that works. Why I think, because I think the rest of the mech I really, really like, and I do quite like the second head. I'll probably use the second head if I don't swap it out for something different. I certainly won't head
the overall idea of the miniature. Again, I need to reiterate this. The overall idea of the miniature, I don't hate it. My fundamental problem with it is that I think this is the most underdeveloped thing we've ever had. I think this is a first concept that they just went, fuck it, that'll do. And that's why I hate it so much. I think other things that we've had probably had some iteration and some back and forth. I don't think this had any. I think they made one design and they went with it, and that was it. Because even the weapon choices just seem a bit odd to me. Because it's like if it was me, say, and I was designing that, the first thing I would think is, oh fuck, this is what I wanted to say when I wasn't drunk. This is good. Like if I was designing that, I'd be thinking, right, okay, so this is a one-shot weapon. Like I know this because it can have the custom mega cannon, can't it? So that's multiple shot, right? Still, that's D3 still, is it?
It's multiple shot. I can't remember exactly. It might
Yeah.
just be a set number.
So one of them's multi-shot. So that's got a slight chance of hitting with Ork ballistic skill. I was half expecting that they would just give it better ballistic skill because a Big Mech was holding it. They didn't. That surprised me, right? Yeah. But then I was like thinking, well, like the obvious solution there is to just do what they did with the grot shooter thing on the Warboss, which is to just go mount this on the back of the exosuit as a grot turret. Problem fucking solved.
You could do
that took me 5 minutes.
Hold it. You could get round it. You might not want to give him a target and squig because you might think, oh, he's a mech. He wouldn't be squig reliant. But you could easily put some sort of target and array on it. He's a mech.
Exactly. And also, just on the open chestness, he's not got any armor. It's a real shame that orcs don't have some kind of like protective shield to protect them from damage or anything. That could maybe go on and protect him from damage, and that would make sense as to why he's open shirted, going shoot me in the chest.
I would have liked them had the options of, say, a custom force field instead of the jump thing. They have the choice. have like the little, I forget what it's called, but you know, the little teleport jumpy thing he's got on his back. Just have a bit that comes off. Much like the big Mega Armor, you've got the teleport blaster or the KFF. Just you know, swap out the bits. It's a tiny little bit. You could have squeezed it in, I'm sure.
The jump thing does interest me because that I'm wondering
I'm
what.
it's bad. I'm just saying I'd like to have had the option, and I also think with the weapons, since they've put the custom Mega. It's a custom Mega Blaster. You can't get much more mech than that, so I've got no problem with that. And I'll be taking that over the tractor cannon, which, yeah, it's a one-shot weapon. Using that hit with it anyway.
No one's going to take it.
I
Like,
would have liked to have seen 4 options, and I would like to have seen all the mech gun options essentially, and had the tractor cannon hit on better with its single shot. Had the smasher gun sort of option be, you know, a few shots, but quite solid. Custom Mega Cannon, more shots, if not the same, a little bit more deadly, but also deadly to yourself. And then just chuck the bubble chucker in for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
You know, had the options, basically saying, look, he's a mech, he builds mech guns. This is what he's got as he's shooting.
I like the bubble chucker.
The one that everybody takes and the one that nobody takes.
Yeah.
Let's give them those options.
But here's my harshest take, is that it does strike me that the person who designed this miniature doesn't know much about orcs. That's my assumption, right? Because it sounds to me like someone got told to make a mech and went, what guns do mechs take? Found this unit called mech guns and went, oh, I'll just give them some of those.
Yeah.
That was the end of the decision-making process. They picked 2 at random and gave it those.
I mean, who knows?
Like, that's very uncharitable. I don't have anything else to say because I'm not going to take it back, but like, it is very uncharitable. It's probably right though. Like, probably is. Like, we get this a lot as orc players. Like, I mean, it strikes me that like certain factions, like say Eldar and Space Marines, are getting much more posable natures these days. In recent time.
They do. It's
we've
not
been
as
getting
GW's done away with options. I don't know if posable's the right word. Options certainly.
I mean,
and those options often come with a different pose. It's not like everyone stood like that. There's just different guns to swap.
The only thing that booked
Like,
the trend for us was we were talking about earlier. Commandos. The commandos are the thing that booked the trend for us. They fit, but they were designed for kill team. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the I got the Monopause Blade Guard with the Indomitus box, and they're just, you know, they build in this particular way. And if you bought 3 lots of them, you'd have 9 Blade Guard, and 3 would be identical. But then I bought the actual kit as well, and put them together, and they came with options. But the options,
Primaris?
Yeah, the ones with the sword and board, sword and shield.
Yeah.
But when you chose the options, when you chose a different option, I mean, they've all got the same weapons with them, to be fair, so it's slightly different. But when you chose the different options, they were totally different pose. Whether, you know, the same model, depending on what arm options you put on him, he was either stood there with shield and sword, or he was shield on his back and he was wiping his sword with a cloth, or he was stood with like a shield and his sword in the scabbard with a plasma pistol or bolt pistol or whatever, sort of. And again, you had the choice of what weapon reached out. So they were all the same. I don't know if they were exactly the same model, but they all had the basic. But would depend on how you set them up or how you built them, they look totally different just through the options. You couldn't pose them exactly how you wanted without, you know, a little bit extra work. But those options made radically different miniatures. And obviously you had the head choices. So helmet, head without beard.
It does seem, though, that the factions that tend to get that tend to be the good boy factions who don't convert their miniatures much.
Well, you've got a few comments there in the comments.
Slightly tinfoil.
So Dakafaka was saying Necron warriors all got 2 heads and 2 weapons, although they are almost all identically posed. Tommy Mack said Chaos Space Marines have a shit ton and are all compatible as well.
Mm-hmm. I think the Necrons, I quite like the fact that I built 10 of them from the Indomitus from we burnt the paint. And like the head options were like brand new Necron straight from the factory, battered Necron, worn with an eye hanging out and all, you know, battle damaged a bit.
The thing I'm
not
trying
a
to
massive amount of
the thing
detail
I'm
on something fucking that big, but you know, it's quite good.
they must have changed the Necron law a bit then, have they? Because that doesn't make an awful lot of sense.
I'm
Like the
sure,
Warriors,
I'm
great.
sure they were like some of them just looked a little bit more worn than others.
I mean, mid-combat, you're going to have Necrons that are in bits until they phase out, and then...
Yeah, but you don't get battle damage on other factions, do you? Not very often. Like on units that are sort of mid-battle, you don't really get that.
There's two Necrons, and as we can see, they're different to each other. His elbow's higher.
Is that just how so what they did was they've done the battle damage to break them up, right? To make them look different.
I assume, I'm sure it was battle damage. I mean, there might be somebody who's more the Necrons than I was. I only glued 10 together and thought, what the fucking hell? I'm used to snipping off, like, you know, orc bits where an orc boy arm's like the size of a torso on these skinny little gets.
The most fundamental aspect of the design of how Necron mages are built is that they have to hate Necron players, right? That's the design. They've got to be awful to build, right? That's never changed. Like, yeah, they are a faction for masochists, to be honest.
I have a feeling you'd say
which is why it surprised me that they've never been my jam, because that's exactly me. Right? But I've never liked them. The only thing I ever wanted to do was I wanted to do Flintstone themed Necrons. Stonecrons, meet the Stonecrons. They'll have a 10101 time, and like seemed like a great idea, right? And it was like just like have like use those stupid chariot things, but like have them on stone wheels and like big, because your monolith's just a big fucking stone, right? And then like you can have like metal dinosaurs for like the weird wraith things that everybody hates you for taking.
Zoids.
Yeah, that would be cool as well.
Yeah, Zoids. You can wind them up and I'll just let them go and skittering across the battlefield. Zoids.
But yeah, there's lots of cool themes that you could do with Necrons, but I've never really wanted to start them. Probably because I know I've had too many friends ask me to build Necron things, and I've gone, fuck that. And bearing in mind that, like in fantasy, like I often the ideal I would like if I did pick up Old World, I would do a skeleton army. That's what I'd want to do. The problem is in Warhammer Fantasy that they're boring and they like you to take flesh-shaped wizards or fucking vampires, and I'm like, look, I'm never going to read Twilight, right? Don't give me this shit. I had to endure Anne Rice's terrible fiction, right? Just give me Krell, and let him just have a force that doesn't disintegrate. And don't give me that stupid Lich Master who's like bad Gandalf. I don't want him. He's boring. He can fuck off.
Oh,
just give me skeletons.
Bad
They'll be
Gandalf.
terrible. They'll never win a game because they need magic to function. Don't give a shit. Just give me skeletons. Right? And it upsets me that works in Age of Sigmar, and I can't stand the fucking game.
Oh, I love it. Very bad Gandalf.
He is bad Gandalf. Have a look at the artwork. He really is bad Gandalf. That is all he is.
The Lich Master, yeah. Yeah. What was his name? Van something or other?
Heinrich von Kammler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of bad wizard names now, and all I've got stuck in my head's are Paul and Daniels.
Oh, God.
Which again means nothing to half the people listening, which I think is probably about 8.
With his girlfriend, fuckface McGee. Oh.
I think we've been going for over 2.5 hours
now. For quite some time, and we've wandered way off topic.
There's still people there.
Expected. So this is all get much hobby done. I've been sealing bases like there's no tomorrow. Hence why I was quite happy to let you keep going. I've been trucking away here, actually.
All I've done is, apart from almost a half a bottle of whiskey, is I've been putting I'll just wave this. It's just me wand. I've just been adding some detail to me drum skin, and then when that PVA putty stuff is dried,
Yeah.
where I've put some little rivets and what have you on, I'll glue that in place,
Nice.
and then I'll start on the armor plate and dags.
I've mostly been doing mental hobby of thinking what I'm going to do next with this.
So that's a truck chassis with tracks?
Yeah. Keep saying what they are. Robotech tracks. Robotech.
Robotech.
Yeah. Stole Dark, that Russian company that you probably can't shop from anymore.
Technolog or something like it's called. I see.
Yeah.
We're not a knockoff, honest, Gov.
Yeah. They're just the same spruce. Just
for $3, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think
I was impressed.
I don't think you can buy Robotech anymore, though.
The spring-loaded cannons that fired the projectiles, and they were like,
honest to God,
£3 a
have you
pop.
tried them with the springs in? I put
Probably
the spring
lethal.
in one, and I was like, put a little thing. Went, oh, this is quite good. I hit it, and then he put me fucking window out on the other side of the room. It hit it with such boom. Oh, Jesus Christ! Take the spring, so you have somebody's argued. It was neat, good for tabletop battle.
But home defense.
It's not going to 6 foot range. It's like a 60-foot range. It's ridiculous.
Pointless trivia. That's how War Games rules started.
Little Wars.
Little Wars was all about you used a projectile to shoot the soldiers over, and that was how you decided whether or not things hit or not.
We used to set up, my mate had his father was into sort of, used to paint a little Napoleonics and that. This is before I got into Warhammer the first time round. And my mate had loads of the Airfix soldiers? Say Airfix, not Airfix. They were about year big.
Airfix did do them.
It was Airfix, yeah.
Yeah.
They had loads of detail. It wasn't like the usual Green Army men. They were like really sort of detailed grenades and straps. You could say everything. And we used to go, right, you're the Allies. I'll be the Axis of questionable morals. And he'd set them up in two sort of, not ranks, but, just...
The Axis of demonetization.
Yeah. And then we'd get a Kit Kat and we'd eat the Kit Kat. And we'd get the silver paper and you roll that into a ball. And you just have to chuck the silver ball and try and, if you knocked somebody over, they were dead. And snipers were very hard to kill because they were already lying down yet to flip them over. And well, hours of fun. On a living room carpet, just chucking little balls of silver foil at each other, just trying to knock each other's soldiers over.
It's probably how you had the energy to keep playing, let's face it. There's just been
this is true. This is
loads of chocolate.
the days of the junkie, of course. This is in 4 and 2 finger versions only.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all must have played with soldiers in that regard, because I remember playing my grandmother's garden we were throwing stones at each other's soldiers, or my uncles had cowboys and Indians, but they had the cannons. You could put a matchstick in, and then you'd tape a penny to the end of it, so you'd get more deals with the, you know what I mean? So
well, look at even going back even further. We must have. I know I certainly played crossbows and catapults as a kid.
Yeah,
where you had your Vikings versus barbarians, and you had your tower catapults, and you had your little catapult, and you had the crossbow, which to be fair was best because it shot them across the ground. You didn't fucking fire it down the stairs or anything.
I like the catapults because they were tricky.
Which then exploded, and that. It was meant crossbows and catapults. You could build walls and stuff.
I had the we were talking about the shitty plastic soldier men. I had loads of the shitty plastic soldier men, and I had a ruined house, like World War II house with sandbags and stuff, and a barely any bit left of a second floor, and then a thatched roof that was just fucked, that was on one side. And I loved putting it together, and it was huge, right? It was designed for those little army men. It's an FX thing, and they still make it, and you can get it in smaller scales. So I found this fucking kit that I already had, that I had as a kid, that I played with as a kid, that I bought for wargaming. And I was like, fucking hell. It's weird when shit like that happens.
What,
Yeah.
they don't stop producing a kit that's like fucking 40-odd-year old. Like,
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that gets recycled, and I'd love to do stories about this because I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I'm quite a fan of zombie matches because I'm making a zombie skirmish game.
If only you had some kind of hobby channel.
I know, right? If only I had a hobby channel that I never had to. I've been filming for it. And this time the filming has worked. So I'm building a backlog of things I can actually make into videos rather than before. I had just problems with 7 or 8 cameras. But then I found that someone named Sid mentioned something called Droid Cam, and now I'm actually making videos that work. But anyway, I'd love to do the history of it. I do need to do research though, and that just sucks.
That's like
And
homework bit, isn't it?
it's so much work. But there was a zombie survivors box that I bought ages ago from a company I can't even remember the name now. Oh, hang on.
right, you're showing us this and giving us the explanation, and we're wrapping up. Fucking Jesus.
War Games Factory.
With like 2
right?
hours worth of energy, any.
War Games Factory survivors, the men,
I've seen
right?
that. Yeah, I've seen
And there's
that,
the one where you can get the women, right? And War Games Factory disappeared because they got bought out by, I think it's Warlord, and now they've got them and they use them for their Walking Dead range.
Ah, okay.
But they were a separate thing. That would be an interesting bit of history to get because I mean, fuck knows how long we'll be able to have the history for that before it disappears forever. But might be fun. If someone else wants to do it, I will not be against it because that I have to contact people, and that is my greatest anxiety. Which is why I've not done anything about it.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I look forward to seeing what you do with the men. I've gotten a fair bit of progress done, but I think it's time to wrap it up. Steve-O's bailed on the stream on the other side. There's still a few people here, but I think we've been very productive. We've had a very in-depth conversation. All things considered, we had some technical issues, but we still managed to soldier on. So I'm quite happy with this one. I hope you've all.
My sabotage mission was successful.
What, in conversation? I mean, we covered topics.
No, I just thought I could trash the party, and I did.
Sure, why not?
It was funny.
You're allowed. That's what, being one of the bosses. It's like, I'm here. I've done it before. I've just dropped in midstream. Oh, Jesus, how are you?
It makes more sense for the Blood Axe, to be fair.
Sneaky kid.
Yeah.
But my fellow Warbosses will bid you adieu, and we'll sign out. So don't forget to drill your barrels from Scarney.
See you later. Take care.
Imagine me singing Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, but, I don't have the talent for that, so just imagine it. And that way I'm not violating copyright.
Good night.
Good night.